San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Texans continued their aggressive offseason, pulling off a blockbuster trade yesterday with the Buffalo Bills. The Texans acquired Stephon Diggs, a 2024 sixth-rounder, and a 2025 fifth-rounding for Houston, while the Texans send Buffalo a 2025 second-round pick to acquire from the Vikings earlier this year. The Cowboys were busy, too. They brought back offensive lineman Chuma Doga.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around for the warmth of it. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. RJ, comfortably ensconced. I, on the other hand, am sitting up on a tent on the driving range where the Valero Texas Open. I'm excited. It's the first day of spring in my brain, and I'm celebrating it sitting on a top of a hill and about 53 degrees and breezy. How you doing?
I've never been better. It's Thursday. There's always a naturally great and rigorous feeling associated with Thursdays.
Yes.
So we did it. We made it.
It is. It's a small Friday in my brain. And the way I like to start small Fridays is a 3-mile uphill hike about 5 a.m. But really the best way to start our morning, and anybody who's getting up right now and getting ready to get on 1604, at least up until very recently, it was closed. And that evil bee, I'll just call her that, the bee that is Waze, didn't let me know.
She's listening.
Well, she's led me astray. I'm upset with her. I'm going to change the accent. I'm going to go in an entirely different direction. The Australian girl that kind of, made my morning. Let me down, man. She kept leading me astray, kept telling me to do things I knew were wrong. It's one of the problems about morning drives. So it took me a long time to get from where I was to where I is, which is the Valero Texas Open. And we're out on the driving range, and I can see about half of it. I can't wait to see who the first guy out is, because the first guy out on the driving range, I'm going to draft into my pool, because this guy wants it, like everybody listening, like our morning crew, like our morning brigade, who should sign up and sound off like they got a pair. I got a pair of tickets to the Edwin. It's Poteet.
Sorry about that.
And if you go from Poteet to Jordanton, it's a journey. That's why it's Jordanton. But Poteet strawberry tickets that I will give away in 30 minutes, just after 6:30.
That's exciting. Somebody's going to be very, very, very happy today.
And watch us live. You can watch me sitting in a tent, RJ sitting in his office, and we'll get into, man, oh man, do you have any Texans gear, RJ?
I don't, but Pledge has enough to outfit everybody, obviously.
Maybe we should ask him for some. Because
that happened 5 minutes after the show ended yesterday.
I know. It's like they held off. They just didn't want us to celebrate the greatness that is the Houston Texans. I don't know how they managed to do this deal. I know that Stephon certainly did shake some things up. Very interesting in a lot of ways, this deal, because not a lot of times you go, maybe both teams are all right. I don't know what to make of what Buffalo's doing, but they did it decisively. They traded Stephon Diggs to the Texans, if you haven't heard, and a couple picks go back and forth. But the gist of it is the Houston Texans get a wide receiver of great merit to go with their young quarterback, and Buffalo exits a guy who just didn't get along with his quarterback, and they're willing to eat a whole bunch of money to do that. We'll see how it works out. I can't wait.
You talked about it's kind of rare or whatever that both teams get out, etc. The first time Stephon Diggs was traded was a rare instance in which both teams kind of won.
Yeah.
Obviously, Stephon was great and helped unlock Josh Allen, and the Vikings landed Justin Jefferson with the draft pick that they got. So I mean, if you had to pick a winner, I'd probably pick Minnesota. But the compensation heading Buffalo's direction here is really questionable. Plus the the biggest dead cap hit eaten ever by a non-quarterback. It's not a secret that Stephon has had, a falling out with Buffalo. I love what the Texans are doing so much. I'm so impressed. I'm such a fan, and I'm really, really, really jealous.
Jealous would be the term I use. Just green with envy. Watching a team play within the rules, understand the rules, and win using the rules. But meanwhile, not to be outdone, news comes from the Star. The Cowboys.
This was like 5 minutes after this.
Yeah. Oh, man, they were just waiting. Well, they already had done the deal. I bet they did this deal a couple weeks ago. They're just waiting.
Lying to us.
Because we're moving, baby. They bring back offensive lineman Chuma Edoga, which on its ain't awful. It ain't Stephon Diggs, but it ain't awful.
Okay, your definition of what is all in and mine might not be the same thing.
Man, I don't know.
Poor Chuma, honestly, because
poor Chuma
gets a new contract with the Dallas Cowboys. His family has every reason to celebrate and be proud of him and enjoy it. And all anybody has to say about it is what a loser move it is. And it has nothing to do with Chuma.
On its face, you're like, well, makes some sense.
The times, they are rather tough, Rob. They really are. I mean, we're in the wilderness, really. I've never experienced this, to be quite honest with you. It's a very, very strange time.
Well, we will wander in the darkness, like at the top of the Valero, Texas open hill. I can see way, way far from here in the distance.
What that means?
I can see Houston.
Do you know what that means? Nobody can hear you. Nobody can hear you scream.
We're out at the Valero, Texas Open. Going to be here all weekend. I've got some Poteet Strawberry Festival tickets I want to give away here in just a couple minutes. But to do so, you need to do something. Make sure you're watching us, or at least paying very close attention to a device that is broadcasting our images via the internet. So it's on YouTube. You can go there. You can subscribe. You can like it. And we appreciate when you do that. There's a little bit of college football news in the world that is we're the American sporting world. We really do like the way the Premier League and the Europeans do things. This is yet another thing where we're
like
trying
consequences. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I think because the Europeans have always been kind of freewheeling with their money, with the way that they set up just the way they fund their soccer, their football organizations is a dream, I think, for most American holders. You know what I mean? Owners. So I think that they're trying to get starting to squeeze this sponge the way that the Euros have, and the Premier League has it set up, man. Let's keep giving them. It's like let's keep giving them events. It's like the gladiator games. Give them something else, man. Give the fans something else to cheer for. Another trophy, another tournament, and the way they fund and keep their players. So I get it. A super league, 80 teams, winner take all. Which makes some sense. College football has an idea with a league that would involve no conferences and no divisions. There'd be 80 teams. We'd figure out a way to play it through. Relegations involved, money involved. It would be the ultimate. It would be the end game, I think, for a lot of people, but I think it might go a little far. But it's certainly worthy of conversation amongst those that in the middle of this, because, RJ, there's still change going. There's time right now to add ingredients to a dish that's not done.
Well, I know that we're still – so I know you kind of have your doubts, but we're still waiting to see what happens with Clemson and Florida State as the ACC fall apart. I mean, 80 teams is a lot. I mean, that would conceivably, involve the merger of the SEC and the Big 12 and Big 10 as we know them now, right?
Basically, with some other teams kind of thrown in there.
Like your Clemson, your Florida State, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Notre Dame finds a home. You know what I mean? Like maybe it all kind of finally works out. But
maybe it would have to include Notre Dame.
Sure,
if they're not in it, nobody's in it.
But I think I'm not accusing you of being disingenuous, but it's not an 80-team league. if you have relegation. Because if you have relegation, then there has to be a league beneath the league to provide a winner to be promoted. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be one league to be one league has to have teams relegated and another has to have teams promoted. So imagine like it'd be triumphant to be promoted. You know, there's always that really great story in the Premier League or whatever the case may be. But imagine if this were to go through and you're the AD at, you know, West Lafayette, North Point State, wherever. And they're like, Rob, you know, you're in, but you're in the second league. Just so you know, like that would really tell you where the world of college athletics views you, that you're not one of the 80. And so that would be a bit of a tough scene.
That will never happen. Relegation is one thing that, while I think on the individual basis, we're all for, but until it's opportunity, for your team to be relegated or an advertiser's investment into a team is relegated as well. That's one thing that, while we all individually like, as a group, we don't like. That's not going to happen. Relegation is not the way to go about this, especially given the rather cyclical nature of college sports anyway. I mean, we're supposed to, at least initially, you're supposed to only have 4 real years of eligibility. There is built-in relegation. Your team is flipping over every other year. So I don't see that happening. And it's going to be very difficult to get to this Super League because we got a lot of greedy people involved. But there are some benefits financially, and we're going to get into it at 7:45. We got a lot of WNBA news as we have one more contributor to the league. Angel Reese has declared. Curious, are your interest going to follow her to the professional leagues? If you're not already a WNBA fan, well, this year's Final Four bring you there, as Caitlin and Angel declare, and we'll see who else is headed that direction. Lots to get into. Let's get it started. Stephon Diggs is a Houston Texan, if you're just joining us, and we're all clamoring for our Texans gear. I can't wait to go head over to Fanatics and see what we got going on. But the Cowboys were busy too. We'll talk about the NFL activities. Diggs is in Houston, Adoga back in Dallas, and we are next here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Nothing beats March Madness. The pure sound of a swish, the rattle of a slam dunk, the fans on their feet for the big moments. And the action just keeps getting better until a national champion is crowned. Hear all the action with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here
on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and San Antonio's ESPN 1250.
Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
The LaTappe, Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo. LaTappe, Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
Hard work is the foundation of the job site. Boot Barn Work and Carhartt are committed to supporting the hard workers that keep our nation moving. Boot Barn Work proudly offers a broad selection of Carhartt workwear and boots, known for durability and quality since 1889. When the work is relentless, Carhartt is trusted to finish the job. With so much on the line, there's no room for cutting corners. Carhartt at Boot Barn Work.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
Public health is more than just healthcare. While a doctor treats individuals, public health looks at the health of a community. At Metro Health, we research the risk of illness and take action to stop the spread of infectious diseases. We introduce prevention and early detection activities that help individuals enjoy healthier lives. We protect against environmental health hazards. Metro Health collaborates with community partners to improve health outcomes because we are all public health. Celebrate National Public Health Week with us. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Check out the 2024 Basketball Mayhem at sasportstar.com. Enter your best bracket for the chance to win an incredible $1 million prize at sasportstar.com.
Hey, huddle up. Gather around for heat. It is the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. That's the Blogging the Boys managing editor. We call him RJ. You call him however you can. 656-3776. You can type to him. Get on the brigade bar. Or you can text us. It's up to you. But to get on the brigade bar, you got to go to our feed there on YouTube. We are the Morning Huddle, and make sure you are liked and subscribed there. So as I'm walking out the door, headed to another meeting, I get in the car and it's like newsflash. yesterday morning. I see Stephon Diggs has been traded to the wait for it, and I was thinking, well, maybe could it be? I mean, there had been a possibility, maybe, some time ago, but no, he is now a Houston Texans, and what involved a fair amount of picks that went back and forth, but at the end of the day, not a lot came to the Texans, to the Buffalo Bills for Diggs, and they got to eat a massive dead salary cap hit of a little over $30 million to wave goodbye to Diggs. The Texans are doing this the way that we believe it should be done. I mean, you're capitalizing on rookie quarterback money. You're filling the gaps where he needed them. You're giving him guys that are required that you think will elevate his game. Spectacular. And 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
10 out of 10, Rob.
So far.
This
they haven't drafted yet. I'm going to give them I'll give them a sum total grade, but this is midterm. The midterm, they got a solid A.
The overall compensation involved, the Texans received Stephon Diggs, obviously, and a 2025 fifth-round draft pick. The Bills, on the other hand, received a second-round draft pick in 2025. So not even this year. I mean, you get a second-round pick next year, and that's fine. Honestly, I would love for the Cowboys to get a future second-round pick because you get to monitor this thing all season long. We never get that. The guy who runs the guy who runs our Eagles site, every year the Eagles always have a future pick tied to something, and every week he gets to write a tracker. Like, here's where the pick stands right now, and I'm always so jealous. I'm like, man, that would be free content. But so good for the Bills, I guess, that they have that. I
want to look at this on two sides of the fence. So do you want to look at the Texans or do you want to look at Buffalo? Because I think it speaks so much as to where each one of these franchises are.
Let's look at Buffalo because the Texans thing is obvious. Good job. Congratulations. We'll get to you, but let's go. What are your thoughts on the Bills?
Well, initially you think, how on earth, after all that Diggs meant when they got him, can you even begin to exit him? And then you think about salary, and that was up until yesterday at 10:05 Central Time. We thought the dead money was enough to keep him in Buffalo. Just make nice with each other. We'll figure something out. He's too expensive to let go, too big to fail. But they decided to eat it. So that tells me, one, that the GM there in Buffalo is all in on his quarterback. Look, man, we're going to make you comfortable, whatever it takes. I'm willing to take a hit. But I also think I'll put the Buffalo Bills on a very short ticking timer. That this has to work now, or your general manager is going to be gone, your head coach is going to be gone, and the quarterback's going to look a lot like Dak Prescott. So I appreciate that at the very least, like you've been begging for, they have a plan and they're showing it to you.
The Bills, sometimes in life, you have to, whatever, work you're in or hobby or whatever, you have to take 2 steps backwards to take 1 step forward, right? Like and this kind of feels like that for the Bills. Stephon Diggs is a wildly talented player, but you're right. There's no question that he brought with him some extracurriculars that were sometimes difficult for Josh Allen and the organization to survive. And so you can argue that in some respects they're better off, but you could certainly argue that in others they are not.
Talent-wise, there's no doubt they're not.
Well, they have to fill the void, and this is a really deep wide receiver class. We've seen teams, you look at the Green Bay Packers, they hit on, tons of young players at wide receiver. And so it's very possible to just in 5 minutes kind of reset things, so to speak. But in one way, I think Josh Allen has done a great job of managing this whole story the entire time that it's been a story. It has to be nice for him to not have to worry about this anymore. On some level, you're right. You're going to miss Stephon Diggs, the player. There's zero question. There's zero doubt about it. But it is objectively a nice thing to, let this be somebody else's potential problem. And so I get it for Buffalo, but the cap hit is extraordinary. It's over $31 million. It is the largest dead money cap hit absorbed by a team for a non-quarterback ever in the history of the NFL. And it's why, the guy who runs our Bills site is a good friend of mine, Jay Spence. His name is Jay Spence. And I've always been teasing him like, hey, so, Trayvon and Stephon, they want to play together. And he's the last couple of years, no way. He's untradeable. It's impossible. It's not happening. And this tells you that if an NFL team really wants to move on from a player, they will eat whatever they have to. The Bills.
Well, I want to bring that up. We've seen it with Russell. I mean, it's already happened.
That's another good point. Yeah.
And now we're seeing with this. Is this a reflection on there might be a tendency or a new trend in ownership where there really is money is no object, where there's the Steinbrenner, the OG money is no object kind of thing, as we get this transition to new ownership or new investment? Like with, what we're looking at in Buffalo is an ownership that's building a new stadium. I mean, you got a new stadium coming. This has got to be, the furniture's got to be in place here in about a year because this is coming. And you look at what happened. Well, look at in Denver, they got a new ownership in the Walton family.
Right.
I think that there's the ownership now is, as they've seen somebody else do it, it's like the 4-minute mile. Well, you know what? They're surviving. Who'd have thought that I could survive a $30 million salary cap hit, but they will. And that'll make it that much easier for the next team to go, you know what? Good for me, bad for me. I don't care. You got to go. So I appreciate this.
The Broncos are in a much deeper portion of the desert, right? Like they've wandered too far. They
are unprecedented.
What I will say for the Bills, and this, you can't say this about Denver, is you mentioned moving furniture around. They have the chair. They have the comfortable chair that every night you sit in to watch TV, right? Like at the very least, the Bills have that. They might change couches, they might change coffee tables, they might.
But you're talking about the quarterback and Josh Allen,
right?
They got
Exactly.
Their dude.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have that in your living room and your wife or whoever wants to change things up, you're like, just don't touch the chair. You know what I mean? I really don't care what you do. Just leave the chair alone and I'll be happy.
The
Bills have that
neon sign.
Right, exactly. Like the Bills have the most important thing. And if this makes him better in one respect, then you tolerate what you have to do to get there. It isn't conventional and it isn't awesome, but there is logic to it. Now, the Texan side of this is awesome. And
yes, there's
you brought this up, and I'm just such a fan of elite front office work. When you have the time is when you have your quarterback on a rookie contract. And that's not to say that when they're not on a rookie quarterback contract that you can't also do things, but the time to be inordinately aggressive is now. And that's why, and I don't mean to make this about somebody other than the Texans, but I'm such a fan of what Chicago's doing and of what Washington is doing, because they are doing that now in anticipation of the rookie quarterback contract that they're about to have. They're not waiting to say, well, let's see if Caleb Williams is awesome before we start going all in, or let's see if Drake May or Jaden Daniels, whoever wants it going number 2, is awesome before we decide to go all in. Your plan should be for them to be
what we got. Yeah.
Well, like the plan should be for them to be awesome. Like you're doing all of the work as if they're going to be awesome. So you should, a lot of teams don't get to even utilize the first year of the rookie quarterback contract for that reason. And I wouldn't put Houston in that boat, but I love that they have said, we found the guy. We found CJ Stroud. He is the future. He is the reason. He is him, whatever the kids want to say. Let's do it. Let's give him all of it. And sometimes when you are operating that way, you overpay. And we talked about that with Dalton Schultz as an example. Did they overpay for Dalton Schultz? Absolutely. Does it matter? No, because the faucet is never ending for cap space when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. And good for Houston for understanding what they're working with and going for it. I'm really, really, really impressed.
Well, speaking of swinging for the fences, the Cowboys, not to be left out of the news cycle, made a move as well. The offensive line, no longer a problem. Hey, we'll talk about what the Cowboys did. It wasn't awful. It just wasn't much. We'll be doing that right about the corner. And then let's talk some college football. Just a little after 6:45, the idea of a super league, 80 teams, relegation, pay for all, glory for few. Let's see if it will actually work out. But next, the Dallas Cowboys. We're talking about it, so huddle up with us next. You're on 94.1, and this is San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, our office this afternoon is going to be top-notch. We are live out at the Bolero Texas Open, round 1 underway.
Talking at Texans with John McClain and their big trade to get Stephon Diggs. We'll also talk tournament with Brendan Haywood. He joins us at 4:45. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Porn sites in Texas are turned off.
Yes, they are.
Oh,
they are?
The legislation passed a rule that you have to prove your age. And if you haven't proven your age, which nobody wants to put that information out on the porn sites, they lock you out.
In the past, they said, "Are you 21?" And me and all the other 8th graders would say, "Yes."
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile Smart Quad Door Refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Jason Lennox here from the Blitz. You know, with the tournament here, the college basketball pick'em is the easiest way to get in on the action and a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports. You've made your bracket. It's probably already kind of ugly. Well, there's another way to keep playing with your bracket already busted. It's the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry. And all you have to do is select higher or lower on all different kinds of stats in this week's tournament games for a chance to win big. Up to 100 times your money in a single night. Endless projections to choose from. Create your own experience. So download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll get a mystery special pick to use in your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Pros save big every day when you buy in bulk at Lowe's. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more select OSB sheathing. Plus, save an extra 5% every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us for the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store Lowe's.com/credit for details. U.S. only.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all quarter moon 14-seer AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743458.
Hey, it's Jim Rome, and it's great to be back in San Antonio. Join me weekdays at noon on my new home, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. He is RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson, sitting out at the Valero Texas Open live from the driving range. I see caddies with bags already hitting the range. I don't see any balls flying out there, but the guys are joining. It's getting started this morning as I guess they'll get going right after sunup. I'm still kind of absorbing the busy NFL activity filled day that we had. The Texans grabbing Stephon Diggs, and then very quickly thereafter, we hear from the Dallas Cowboys. They have signed offensive lineman Chuma Edoga. Yeah, that one. We do it. And on its face, again, if it was just another NFL day on another NFL regular team, this would be viewed as, hey, congratulations. You went and got a guy you knew. He has earned it, is valuable. We know what he can do, and welcome to the fold. But in the grand scheme, it just seems like so little given the situation. So let's look on the bright side first. They did address and got a guy that we know can play, and we know exactly what we're getting.
This is, in a vacuum, objectively a very good move.
Yes.
These are the kinds of moves that you should totally make. He's a dude who has experience for you. He provides a swing tackle option. He raises your floor. Well done. Badass, right. I'll even say.
Leave it at that, though. You know what I mean? Okay.
Well, I do want to add one thing, and I saw this morning in our show prep. This comes from DallasCowboys.com from Mickey Spagnuolo specifically. In his write-up about this, he noted, for left tackle insurance, the Cowboys did re-sign Edoga, but for the veteran exception. Now, I'm reading this, this is verbatim, meaning he is only guaranteed his $152,000 max signing bonus and just a $1.092 million cap charge. That is if he makes the team. I mean, we are talking about the cheapest of cheapest possible deals here. That's wild to consider. But, I mean, happy for Chuma. That is a large amount of money for any human being. And but poor Chuma, on the other hand, got roasted and dragged. Because
it sucks being Chuma today, because it should be a celebration, and he's the butt of a joke.
Well, he's the butt of a joke because everyone feels like, dude, the Texans traded for Stephon Diggs.
Right.
The Cowboys brought back Chuma Edoga. And honestly, this is all the Cowboys' fault. I mean, you know, like if you're someone who feels like just give them a chance, just whatever, they've made this bed. This is on them.
Okay, does this affect the draft with a swing tackle in the building? I still see, even by the latest, and I hate mock drafts that make up mock trades. That just drives me crazy. But if where they're still sitting and with Edoga in the building, does that affect tackle, guard, center, whatever it might be?
No, I don't think this affects anything. Just because even if you wanted to draft a tackle or whatever, you still need a swing tackle. I mean, and even then, Mickey's article kind of makes it seem like he might not even make the team, you know, so watch out. So that's interesting in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, he gives you a potential swing tackle option. So you still have a need at left tackle, unless that's Tyler Smith, and then if not, you maybe pivot to guard if you really want to go that route if somebody falls, or center if Jackson Powers Johnson's still available.
I have a channel as a Fubo subscriber, a cord cutter that runs 24 hours a day, one movie, The Highlander. There can be only one. There is a report that college football might turn itself into a super league where there will be only one. It'll replace the NCAA, the CFP, all of that rolled into a league that will be left alone at the top of the college football landscape. Can it happen? Will it happen? Should it happen? We'll talk about it next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
With 64 games in the books, UConn, Purdue, NC State, and Alabama now converge on Phoenix with just 2 more wins needed to claim the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Tune in this Saturday to hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Final Four.
It's all come down to this, the 2024 Final Four, Saturday at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're in the studio right now with Jose from the Gomez Law Firm. Online client reviews and testimonials are incredibly important. Joe Gomez Law is the leader when it comes to 5-star reviews.
We encourage people to go online and look at our reviews. You know, there's a lot of attorneys that might not want you to do that, but we encourage you to do that because we want to make sure that you feel comfortable choosing the right attorney. And we assure you, you go to Google and look up our reviews, you're going to be satisfied. I mean, we have almost 1,000 reviews, and we're very highly rated.
If anyone from San Antonio or even anyone from Texas is looking for a trusted attorney, the Gomez Law Firm is for you.
There are not a lot of businesses that stick around for even 50 years, let alone personal injury law firms.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9047. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9047. That's 800-575-9047. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
If you're a man over 40, feeling like you're falling off in your workouts, career, maybe even in the bedroom, it could be lower testosterone, but you can do something about it. Men across America have beaten the slump thanks to Nugenix Total T. Let's hear from some Nugenix callers. This is Ron from Dallas.
Unlike other supplements that might lead to jitters or crashes, Nugenix provides a steady increase in energy. I've experienced consistent energy levels throughout my workouts, helping me maintain the intensity from start to finish.
Frank from Chicago, you're on. on air.
It works, and it does everything everyone else is saying. I'm in my mid-40s. Sex drive improved, more energy, and I feel stronger.
Don't wait. Text BOSS to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text BOSS to 321-321. That's BOSS to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you ready to party with a purpose? Taste of the Northside is Thursday, April 18th at the beautiful Security Service Event Center. This elevated fiesta event for foodies includes on-site covered parking, entertainment, unlimited tastings from over 30 premier restaurants, countless curated wines and craft beers, hosted by Brighton Center, presented by HEB. Purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, the largest nonprofit in San Antonio, serving children with disabilities through pediatric therapy and education initiatives.
No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Get to your local Twin Peaks Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score some sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, and of course, cheap shots. Freezing cold 29-degree cold beer. Of course, we expect that. And you need more? How about a snack? Twin Peaks has select apps for $2, $4, and $6. And you can always come back for the late night specials. Why would you even leave for the reverse happy hour? No one does happy hour quite like Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and all those scenic views.
Check out the 2024 Basketball Mayhem at sasportstar.com. Enter your best bracket for the chance to win an incredible $1 million prize at sasportstar.com.
Hey, huddle up. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1. There's RJ Ochoa. Is that a warm shirt you have on, RJ? That's Houston Astros. Is that a soft terry long sleeve cuddle of a shirt?
I don't know what. I think this is Nike, but it is
Nike
really
by on your right chest.
Oh yeah.
It shows I wish I had something warm and snuggly. We're out at the Valero Texas Open on a brisk, shall we say, Thursday morning. We're glad you're with us. I'm sitting over the driving range, and as we went to break, it's starting to fill up. There are guys tuning their game, getting ready to go. I need I couldn't read the sign, but I know who I'm picking today. I'm going to go. I'll come back after the next break and tell you who is going to win, because I picked the first guy on the range, the guy who's willing to sacrifice all, set an alarm, like you people listening. And because you people listening, and I say you people in the fondest, nicest possible way, want to go see the Poteet Strawberry Festival in all its glory. I got a family 4-pack that's good for any day, anytime. All you got to do is jump on your device, 656-3776, ESPN to you and me. And caller number 1, the first person in that talks to Edwin, gets to go. So I saw this thing floating around yesterday, and I am so intrigued. And I think it's going to be far more worthy of the time that we have right now. So trust that we're going to do this again. But as we're filing off the edges of what is becoming the art piece of the new college football landscape, it appears that there are those that still want yet more change. And the idea of having a bunch of smaller conferences inside this larger umbrella is not economically feasible if you want to band together and truly bring in the billions. So there might be an idea where they would eliminate all these conferences and we would just have 80 teams in this league. And how the scheduling would handle, we would figure that out. But it would involve all the things we love, including player pay that might be in there, but relegation might be part of it as well.
So according to The Athletic, the proposed plan includes 8 10-team divisions. And 7 of those 10-team divisions would be comprised of teams who are forever safe from relegation. Right. And there would be the loser division, basically, which would be filled with 10 teams who are subject to relegation. Only that division would be subject to relegation. And there would be a second tier of teams that would be 50 teams large, or would be 50 teams wide. And I don't know what the relegation side. I don't know if you're getting rid of all 10 teams or 5 teams or 2 teams, whatever. But of those 50 teams, they'd be battling for the spots. So the 10 teams would be subject to lose. I think, parsing through this, the reason this is unlikely to happen is money, but namely television money, because I don't even know what the television package for this would cost. Like, because
it would have to be fragmented.
But that's the thing. Like, are we going to rework and remake college football and just make college football again? Because to your point, okay, let's come up with these 8 divisions and we'll sort them geographically. And, we'll sell off the Western, divisions and the Midwest and the Eastern and the Southwest and whatever and the Southeast. And, we're just going to have conference alignment the way it used to be and call them different things. And so
the great concern is you're right. And I think that's one of those things when I said, we'll figure out the scheduling later, how we do it would have to happen later. But what the NCAA and at least the college presidents are seeing is the beginning of the next step in this democratization of college sports, of allowing the players to get their just desserts. And the next one is going to be a collectively bargained agreement. Now, it's already been tried. A couple of universities had their teams. The most recent, was it Delaware or some school up northeast, a basketball program tried to unionize. Northwestern has tried to unionize their football program. The collectively bargained idea to get the money from the contract and all that's coming. But the problem is with all these different states that are involved, there's going to have to be a national entity take over this. It's either going to be them or it's going to be Congress. And I think they'd rather it be them. So I think this is also driving this, because you can bring all these disparate teams and all these disparate states in different places all together under one umbrella, and then you can start managing your talent pool, both by finances and by the way that you disperse the talent. So I think that's one of the reasons that spurs this, and it's worthy of a whole bunch more conversation. Pumbaa Grubs, we're going to talk about it. Can non-athletes attend school for free too, or can tuition be lowered to the whole student body who could benefit instead of just the players? You know what? I think those are the kind of things that are on the table right now, but we can't even begin to discuss the long-term ramifications of the money that will be dispersed to far more than just to the players. It might be something where you negotiate a deal and suddenly there are cheaper bits of tuition. That might be one of the outflows of all this money that will now be applied in different ways. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more in the next hour, but we do it every day at 7. We talk silver and black. They got the night off, but the NBA was busy. Have you heard of this kid named Flynn? He went and got 50. Spurs get busy again tomorrow. We'll talk about who they will have, because the list of who they won't continues to grow. This is the Morning Huddle. We're live at the Valero Texas Open. We're going to go grab us a blanket and a chili cheese dog and be right back. Hang around. Silver and Black coming next right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the NBA playoffs.
Down the middle of the lane, takes it right to the rim and flushes.
KTFM Floresville.
Get the last water softener you'll ever own. Tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Last water on, call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Visit ConnecticutSA.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heebner, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile Smart Quad Door Refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ever wonder what's around the next corner? What happens if you push further? With Nissan SUVs, you can take your big adventures to the next level. The 2024 Nissan Rogue's class-exclusive Google built-in is your always updating assistant to call on for almost anything. And there's no need to connect your phone. Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store are built right into the 12.3-inch HD touchscreen infotainment system. Go find your next adventure with the 2024 Nissan Rogue, the Nissan Pathfinder, or the Nissan Armada. Learn more at nissanusa.com.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Texans continue to prove they're all in this offseason. They continue their aggressive moves, trading for Stephon Diggs to help out their rookie quarterback. They're going to get a 6th-rounder, and a 5th-rounder as well, as they sent a few there to Buffalo. The Cowboys picked up an offensive lineman, Chuma Doga. They knew him. He played here before. And Justin Verlander starting his rehab. He'll be in Sugar Land.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. We got a whole bunch to talk about here on the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson, sitting live at the on the driving range of the Valero Texas Open. The lights are on and the golfers are up. And yet again, I am proving that the way I play golf is very different from the way these guys play. Their swings this early in the morning look much better than my sling would look at 7:02 in the blessed AM. But as the sun rises and the driving range fills up, we'll keep you abreast as we're going to be here all day long. The Blitz will get here at 2 o'clock, but by the time they get here, I'm sure it'll be comfortable. Right now, dude, I'm cold. It's just flat out cold. I don't know what the temperature is. My thermometer on my computer says 62. It is a lot cooler than that where we're sitting. How warm is it in your office, RJ? Just let us know. Is there something warm to eat too? Did you get some warm porridge?
I feel fantastic.
Have you ever had warm porridge?
No, but I eat oats a lot, and you've always had some thoughts on that. So
I appreciate the good oats. Oats are good for the movement, if you know what I mean. And I was afraid to do that because while I enjoy being on the driving range, and they put us out here, the reason we're on the driving range is because of me. In a previous life, I worked in the afternoons, and we were used to be on the 18th. It was the perfect place. You could see we're right in the middle of the fairway, just a little bit off in the media center, in the shade, had ready access to cold drinks and warm food and smiling PGA types. And I kept coming back to our show, which is still the Blitz, a little loud. And they've since relegated us all the way up to the top of the hill on for the driving range, which is cool now because I get to see some activity. But it's a hike in the morning. It's a heart pounder, as it were. A heart pounder, the likes of which we hope to see as the season winds down here for the silver and black. It's a terrible transition, but that's what we do here on the San Antonio Sports Star. No Spurs activity again tonight, and I think all of us needed a little bit of a breath. I needed a little bit of time away from the hardwood. I'd spent a lot of time in front of the tube, bleary-eyed, watching some fine basketball. And the Spurs, you know, they're ending the season with kind of not a bang, but looking different. I'm not going to say better, but different because of the two things that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We've seen a team with Wemby and without Wemby, and both of them have looked pretty good, but the team with both together, not so much. And it's one of those confounding problems that I hate going into the offseason having to deal with because I don't have a big enough sample size to kind of figure out why these two things are happening.
So I don't know that we have to figure it out, right? It isn't super pressing. Like, does it really matter in the long run? You know, that we don't know why
it does. You're right. I mean, there's time to figure it out, but the existential thing here is we have got to speed the clock. I think we're the timeline has been shortened by at least a year. I think what we thought we would need to do 2 years from now, and now we need to do next year. And likewise. So if it's fast forwarded, because Wemby's progress has been so much faster than I think most expected, decisions that we thought we got to put off, I don't think you get to put off anymore. So if there is even a question of can these guys work it out, I don't want to go into the offseason thinking that. I'd like to know after 82 games that I think after given find a way to play. Well, right now, I don't feel any better about that than I did back in October.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you know? If you have to come up with 3 undeniable truths about the Spurs right now.
Okay. Great question. I think that is the question that I hope Brian Wright contemplates every morning when his alarm goes off. What do I know? I know that Victor Wembanyama is such a transitional figure that what he initially wanted, I kind of winked at and said, yeah, you're going to figure it out, that we know what we're doing. No, when Wemby is at his best, when this team is thriving, is when he is truly the centerpiece of attention. We're not waiting for him to get the ball. He's already got the ball. He's grabbing it off the offensive boards. He's starting the offense. He's getting it across court 40, 60% of the time, somewhere about half the time, that he is the ball-dominant dude. He brings it up. He makes the entry pass. He gets it back. He scored. And I think that is what we figured out. And that means we don't need Devin Vassell. We don't need Keldon Johnson, at least in this iteration, given where we are.
The things you know, let's keep them organized.
Right, okay.
You know,
so what I'm saying is
expand. So,
his game is expanded beyond what we expected him to be able to do as far as handling the ball. Pop saw it. Well, I just didn't believe it. So I know that some of the things that I didn't think I was going to need, I'm going to need. And some of the things I thought I had, I don't need.
That's number one. That's basically number one.
Right.
Some of the things that I didn't think I need, I do. Some of the things that I thought I need, I don't. Okay.
Right.
Boom. Wrap it up. Off the assembly line. Thing number 2 that you know.
Number 2, I know that this team is bereft of shooting. That the effectiveness of what Wemby is going to be incumbent upon our ability to surround him with guys that will space the floor. And the more floor spacers we get, the better we'll be, because right now we don't got them. That's 2. 3, I know that we do not have either a legitimate NBA point guard or a legitimate NBA 5. But that goes back to number 1. Some of the things I thought I needed, I don't need. And some of the things I don't need, I think I need. So that goes to number 3. But I will say, as an absolute, I know that I do not have a starting power center, whether we call him a big 4 or a 5, and I don't have a point guard that will carry the load on a consistent basis. I got one. I like Trey, but I don't have one that I can trust on a day in and day out basis to start the game and be the dude. Those are the 3 things that after 75 games, I know.
First of all, finding out this morning that you're a Sith because you deal in absolutes. So
I do.
Wow.
I have a lot of metachlorians. Man, I'm a geek.
So I think the most difficult thing to grapple with is number 1, as evidenced by the fact that you couldn't just keep it in a box. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that being said, I think the most difficult decision that has to be made is Wemby a 1 or is Wemby a 5? Or is he a 1 who has 5 abilities, or is he a 5 who has 1 abilities? You have to pick one of those things because he simply cannot be both simultaneously. I mean, again, he can be one that floats, but he cannot. You have to devote energy and resources to the other, even if Wemby fills that need and fills that void often. Now, is that Zach Edey, Rob's latest crush? Obviously, at your 5, I don't know. Is that a different Trey Young at your 1? I don't know. But you have to look at these different potential hypothetical amalgamations and say, what is the best one? What gives us the highest floor? Not necessarily the highest ceiling, because Wemby is the highest ceiling. Wemby will achieve that. And I think that I would, if I have to pick one of these paths, and again, I think the 4 paths are Wemby's a 1, Wemby's a 5, Wemby's primarily a 1 with 5 abilities, or primarily a 5 with 1 abilities. I prefer the path where he is primarily a 5 with 1 ability.
I agree with you. And I think the rest of the NBA world feels that's what he's going to be.
Because what he offers as a 1, and to keep these in really loose and simple archetypes here, is very easily findable. Not easily, but I mean, we can identify that, right? We can, go trade for Trae Young. Boom, problem solved. It's more difficult to answer who's your 5, who's your 7'5", big man dude who has a billion different blocks. I saw the other night, I think it was Spurs Red who tweeted this out. I'll double check this right now. I think Wemby has passed Bruce Bowen for blocks as a Spur.
Oh, as an all-time Spur?
Yeah.
I'm surprised a bit.
I'm about to double check this, but he was close the other night. So that's what I'm saying. Like that is the most valuable asset he provides. That's not to say that there aren't other valuable assets that he offers, or that's not even to say that there aren't even other extraordinarily valuable assets that he provides. But those other things we can find quickly in the modern NBA. So you have to pick one of those lanes to live in, though. And that's where, through 75 games, to your point, we've been figuring out that they're not living in any lane. They're just trying to learn and figure out and whatever, and it's a lost season in that respect. But you have to take a step forward here. You can no longer tread water.
And treading water, you define certain things, and getting past the 20 wins ain't going to happen.
Right.
I think if I'm Pop, I think it's a worthy chase. It gives my guys something to play for, to wake up every morning and go, well, at the very least, I don't want to be the worst. It might be the motivating factor, but as far as what we need to see, I think I would like to see Wemby run at least one more game, preferably at home, with those other dudes. But that's really all to kind of complete what my thought process is. But I think you reflected on what I'm thinking. I think that our love affair with a lot of these guys is going to be short-lived. that we will look back and say, the Keldon idea, he's going to be a lot like Lonnie. Like, well, he was fun while it lasted, but he was not going to be the guy. Devin looks like the most likely to hang around in long term, and Trey Jones, as long as he continues to do that. But everybody else, I don't think there's enough time to prove your worth, and I don't think that there's a bottom salary number that'll be worth keeping a lot of these guys around, because they'll be rookies and transient free agents that can offer more to what we're trying to put together, because I think we got a good picture of where we're headed. And at the end of the day, we can't shoot, but Victor has tightened his handles to the point where he can do a little bit more of than what he was doing. A lot of that Jeremy Sohan experiment appears to have been wasted. It should have been Victor doing all this stuff. They chose the wrong big.
I mean,
seriously, around the rest of the league, as teams start to collapse, you get Joel Embiid returning, and this kid Malachi Flynn set a record. You heard of him? I watched him for the first time. He's out of San Diego State, I believe, a couple of years ago. He's been on the Detroit team.
Yeah.
50 burger last night, and while that is not unique in the modern NBA, coming off the bench and getting 50 is. He's only the third guy to do it. He got 50 last night in a loss to the Atlanta Hawks. He joins Jamal Crawford and Nick Anderson as a bench players to ever get 50 coming off. This is since they've been tracking starting and bench scoring since 1970. Only 3 dudes have done it. Jamal did it with the Suns. He got 51 in a loss to the Mavericks in 2019. And Nick Anderson had 50 for the Magic and a win over the Nets back in 1993. It's the silly week in the NBA as the teams convince us, no, they're not tanking. We're just playing other dudes.
Right. No, I mean, good for him. This was one of those like, who? What? Like, who? I've never heard this guy for real. By the way, Wemby does have more blocks on his Spurs jersey than Bruce Bowen ever did, which is just unfathomable.
Speaking of his improvement, Ryan Russillo, noted basketball brain, he was the first to kind of jump on the Wemby is the Defensive Player of the Year award winner by his merits, taking away the team stats and just applying what he did as the award is as applied. He has some more to say about Wemby, and I continue to agree wholeheartedly. This is Ryan Russillo.
He's been better this year than I thought he would be, because he's been ridiculous. Like whatever ceiling you had on him and going, okay, maybe it'll take a couple years. Like, he's already there now. This isn't the finished product, clearly. But when you think of the hype and then the few players that ever surpassed that hype, like, it's such a short list. LeBron surpassed all that hype. Tiger Woods surpassed all that hype. I think Ohtani, in a way, surpassed. Like, wait, is Ohtani really going to do all of these things? You're like, yeah, he did. And I know he's not going to pitch this year because he's hurt. But with Wembanyama, like, okay, I know that he's huge and I know that he moves well and I know the defense is going to be there. But I think it's something you pointed to. It's the way he's not just as a player, but as a person. Like, he seems to get it immediately.
Yeah.
And that's not supposed to happen with somebody this young. Every quote, his demeanor during games, for the longest time, the Euro label of those guys being soft, I think it applied. Like, I do all the draft stuff all the way going back 20 years. And you're like, I don't know about this guy. And with Wembanyama, I had Doug McDermott on, who was a teammate, he's obviously with the Pacers now. But I asked him, I go, what is it about him that surprised you? He goes, man, he is like up for it. The challenge in games. Some guy, the first time they're matched up with him, being like, all right, I'm going to push the skinny guy around. And Wembanyama's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to intimidate me. And to have this person be this good at basketball, but also this good at understanding the responsibility, being the face of a franchise, there's no grade that's too high for him in what he's done his rookie year.
High praise from Ryan Russillo. I want to give credit. I don't know what the source was that. Edwin, will you give him?
The Herd.
It was. Oh, he was on the Herd. You couldn't have said it better. The clock is sped up. The timer is now. We got to leap past the first year. We're now in year 2 of what in the development stage for Wemby, and the praise for him getting it and all of that. The first time we said it about David, we go, man, he just gets it. And then the second time we said it about Tim, and man, he just gets it. And the third time we're saying it about Victor, he just gets it. At some point, maybe it's not the player, it's the system. At some point, can we give some credit? Now, I know that there's a certain amount of luck that these guys were all rather unique characters in that they've all gotten over themselves long before anybody else thought they would. But at some point, can we give Pop a little bit of credit that you can't continually say, well, you just blundered into guys that got it. They got the guy that was available, and it helped that they were Tim, David, and Victor. But there is certainly some sauce that's being applied that they wouldn't have got other places that allowed them to be able to just get it.
There are very, very, very few times, if you are incredibly lucky, that this just dream of a person lands on your favorite team. And not just that they're incredibly good and incredibly talented, but that they kind of check and ride along with the vibe and the MO of the organization or the city or the, geographic area. I think Patrick Mahomes is kind of one of these examples, right? Like he really has embraced Kansas City, whatever. And for the most part, every Spurs superstar has done that. I mean, what we've had here is just, it's different than even what the Patriots had. I mean, it gets obviously compared to that a lot, but it's a very different sort of thing in an adopted culture by the most important people associated with the organization. And that Wemby understands that at such a young age is pretty remarkable, to be honest.
It is. Yet this is the third time we've said the same thing. Now, we can complain about steps, as Brian does on the Brigade Bar, that he says the only one that'll hold Victor back is Pop because of skipping steps. Well, what are the steps that fell into the Tim Duncan step? Well, Tim arrived on a team that was already in pretty good shape. They already had the next in David, who was still at a pretty high level, though winding down, and talent around him. There were other guys here. Sean Elliott was here. We had the dogs and Mario and Avery. We had pieces that were here already. These pieces aren't here for Victor, yet we're saying the same thing again. This guy, he just gets it. Well, the third time, I think we need to start giving a little love to the guy who has protected and coddled and carrot cake delivered and done all those little things to help these guys just get it, So with that in mind, the guy that just gets it, you're going to have to get him some help fast. And you can't help but start comparing the Spurs to the Texans. And you look at what the Texans have been doing, and it's fortune favors the bold, baby. Make the move while you can, because you don't know what next year holds. And if you're ahead of schedule, as C.J. Stroud appears to be, you better act as if. And the Spurs, the clock is ticking, baby. The clock is ticking, because over the last 3 days, listen to what we have heard from guys that are traditionally kind of looking down their nose at San Antonio. Brian Windhorst in his Socialist Collective said, you know what, I just spent 3 days in San Antonio, and that place ain't what it was, bruh. I've lived in Miami, and it got that kind of vibe. Did you check the audio vault? So Wendy is telling all the other dudes, look at that San Antonio, because the place is set. It is not what it was. It is easier to get guys than it ever has been, and they got a bigger reason. So Wendy's telling everybody, San Antonio, you better be on the move. Ryan Russillo, it's obvious. He has been ridiculous, and he gets it. He's telling San Antonio, you better do something, because he is everything we thought he was going to be, and it's happening faster than we thought. So as the season winds down and we joke about bringing the Austin Spurs in to kind of surpass the worst record ever, man, there has got to be a lot of work done. We're watching the Houston Texans do it. You know it can be done. It's got to be done now.
It's one thing to be capable of building the plane as you're flying, which is what, to your point, we're seeing the Texans do in some respects. But it's an entirely different thing and almost an entirely different skill to be willing to do that, to be willing to deviate from your previous plan, to be willing to adjust and say, you know what, the way a year ago when this all began, we outlined the next 5 years and how we thought they would go. We have to change that. And it isn't even always changing because he's better or worse or whatever, but it's changing because information changes. A year ago was a long time ago. The state of and the landscape of the Spurs and the NBA and whatever have changed significantly, even in under a year's time. So you have to be again, not only capable, but more specifically willing to adjust, to adapt, to change. And if you are stuck on some plan and married to the idea that it has to be that way, then you've already lost. Then you've already ruined this, because it just simply it's never, ever, ever, ever going to be identical to the way it was during the first iteration of all this. It just isn't. It can't happen that way. You have to let go of that. You have to understand that fate smiled upon you, and you have to now go out in the sun. You've got a beautiful day outside. Go play. You know what I mean? Don't just sit in here and crunch your numbers the way you thought they were going to go, because it will not work out that way.
And in what has been termed by several general managers around the league as the worst draft in modern NBA history, here the Spurs sit. So if the difference between the number 1 player and the number 12 player, it ain't a whole lot. I mean, if the Spurs were going to have to lose a draft pick to Toronto, this was the year to lose it, because that pick really ain't going to mean much other than a body that might turn out. There really isn't that big of a change. But knowing that tells you free agency is going to matter. There's not a guy that you're going to be able to bring in that's going to help. And the shot of that was going to be slim anyway. Rookies just don't help that much, other than guys like Wemby. And even he didn't help in the win-loss column. Even Wemby didn't help in the win-loss column. So if that's the thing, if we're talking about speeding things up, your attitude about how you acquire talent has to change as well. Don't you need to start focusing a bit more on those that know? I saw on the Brigade Bar, Cougs say, it's different now because players came in like Duncan with 4 years of college experience and we're ready to set foot on an NBA court. I agree with that. But while everybody isn't college educated, by the same token, nobody is. So you walk in basically on the same playing field, because nobody's got 4 years of college, and those guys show up not ready to help. So the whole league's like that. So while it's changed, it's still equal. Getting guys to picks to help immediately matter. And while they don't have the college kids, you can go get a couple of free agents and make a big move now that will pay dividends sooner. I expect if the Spurs are reading the tea leaves, they're going to have to be a lot more active this summer than they planned on. I think they really planned on going through this year, getting better, and using those draft picks a year from now to really kind of catapult them. They don't have time. They really don't have time. And by the notion of the pundits, like Wendy, like Russillo and others, everybody's telling them you don't have time.
You've got to adjust. You've got to adapt. You have to make the most out of it. Like the meat was ready off the grill sooner than you thought. You know what I mean? I know you planned everything. I know you have the sides and everything going on inside, but you got to be ready. You got to pull it. You don't just leave it on the grill so that your plan can work. You have to adjust. And if you waste this, history will not remember that kindly. If you waste this opportunity, if we go through the summer and you do not do anything significant, well, you're saying a lot about yourself at that particular point.
We had a Devontae Graham sighting the other night. He kind of epitomizes the kind of guys that come and go around the NBA. Just enough talent to come out and help, but not enough to get in the game on a regular basis. And I don't think that the Devontae Grahams are anymore. On this bench, you either have to have starters or rookies or developers. There's no in between anymore. You can't afford to have more than one. You get one Malachi or Blake. You don't get two. You get one guy in development. You don't get to have two of those guys play. You don't get a Dominic Barlow and a Champagne anymore. You don't get to have two of those guys. You get one of them developing and one of them playing. And you don't get to have this long list of dudes that it's like bomb squads one night after the other. That's going to have to change.
Mm-hmm.
We can't have that anymore. So just by that notion, the attrition is coming. And I don't think that we've seen a Spurs team change as radically as it's about to change as we'll see coming up in the next between now and the trade deadline next year. And I think the trade deadline next year might be the biggest shift in the roster that we'll ever see.
There's a comment from James on the Brigade Bar that says, you just said we are ahead of schedule. I don't know if you agree, Rob, but that's exactly what I was going to say. The Spurs are not ahead. The Spurs are behind. The pace has moved. This is like we're big Formula One fans. If you're the 20th car on the grid in a given race and the leader is behind you, you have to give way. you have to move over so that you cannot impact the position if you're getting lapped at that point in time. And I'm not saying that Wemby has lapped the Spurs, but Wemby individually is ahead of schedule, which by definition means the Spurs plan is way behind pace. So the Spurs have to now just, first of all, catch the pace that Wemby is on and then get ahead of him and build around him properly and, in an anticipatory sort of way.
They haven't done anything to be behind, but I do think that the schedule, the business plan is an organic thing, and hopefully they have organically changed the process as to when they go get the talent that's available, because there isn't that much time. And as much as we hear others talking about it, so do Wemby's folks. They hear it too. And as much as we want to brag about what San Antonio has become, at the end of the day, if he doesn't feel like he has the opportunity to win, we will start dealing with the very same things that we dealt with Kawhi. We'll start seeing it all over again, that this is not the place for me. I want to be someplace else, and how can I manufacture a way out? And it happens sooner in the NBA now than it ever has. And it'll happen at the end of your second year, beginning of your third, because that's the time the next contract is going to be up. He'll sign the deal, but then the pressure comes to move me with that signed deal. So the clock is ticking for what will be, by the end of next season, an all-NBA performer and defensive player of the year. That's what he'll be next year, and be worthy of all the media limelight, good or bad, that tells you you've got to move. This is no long-term San Antonio. We are the monolith. We do it on our time. We're watching the Cowboys continue to do it and fail, and we're watching the Texans show how the modern world works.
I love the Texans.
I pulled out my Texans polo. I legit thought about putting it on over the next couple of days, but I want to give the proper Texans fans, the Greg Sheltons, the James Pledgers of the world, some fun. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon yet. I don't think they should let us on. No, they should be a little bit discerning. Like, hey, where were you?
I joke about how the Texans are my team on Twitter, but it's a bit of a bit. I'm a huge fan of what they're doing, and I think very highly of them. But nobody's jumping on the bandwagon here. But let's be straight up. What they're doing is impressive, and they deserve all the props and kudos and love in the world.
Well, they continue to be aggressive. Let's talk about the aggression that brought Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud got it. Would you call it a plethora of receivers, RJ?
I would call it a smorgasbord.
Oh, yes. It is a plethora. We'll be right back looking at the Texans, what they did, and the Cowboys brought them another swing tackle. We're talking NFL next. Hang around with us. This is the Morning Huddle, live from the Valero Texas Open, right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
Public health is more than just healthcare. While a doctor treats individuals, public health looks at the health of a community. At Metro Health, we research the risk of illness and take action to stop the spread of infectious diseases. We introduce prevention and early detection activities that help individuals enjoy healthier lives. We protect against environmental health hazards. Metro Health collaborates with community partners to improve health outcomes because we are all public health. Celebrate National Public Health Week with us. Learn more at s.gov.
This station, anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
San Antonio, get ready for CarFest, April 5th through the 7th at the Freeman Expo Hall. Enjoy a car show, driver workshops, entertainment, plus the chance to win a free car. And the best part, admission is free. Learn more at carfestsa.org.
At BetUS.com, why do we care about a college basketball tournament every March, where bets mean everything? Because it's March Mania, where glory triumphs and anything can happen, where underdogs can make or break our hearts. Because it's March Mania, where brackets are broken and buzzers are beaten. And there's always been a sportsbook there for you and your best buds. Because it's March Mania. BetUS has been with you through 30 marches together. And like any good six-man, we've always had your back. And because it's March, BetUS.com is matching the mania with a mad offer. Back to back to back. 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, and the extra confidence that comes from a 10% gambler's insurance. because anything can happen during March Mania. Bet US Sportsbook and Casino, where the game begins. Get started today.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
But I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time, I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT career? So, get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
94.1. You're riding with Rob and RJ. This is the Morning Huddle.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. He's RJ Ochoa. He manages the editing of Blogging the Boys. Yesterday, he got to speak of Chuma Edoga. He is the brand new Dallas Cowboy retread, formerly of, now currently a Dallas Cowboy. We'll talk about the new tackle for the Cowboys in a minute as they stirred the NFL pot, but the pot started boiling yesterday about 10:15. Stephon Diggs traded from Buffalo to the Houston Texans. Super Bowl bound?
Well, they reside in the AFC, which, makes it pretty difficult to reach the Super Bowl these days. But they're not letting that hold them back. They're not letting that stop them from dreaming. You know what I mean? They're not letting that inhibit them from giving this everything that they can. And I think in that respect, they deserve an incredible amount of props, an incredible amount of adoration and praise, because they've identified. I don't know where I would rank C.J. Stroud in AFC quarterback hierarchy, just for the purposes of
He's
AFC
top
discussion.
5.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so Mahomes I'd still put ahead of him. Herbert I'd put ahead of him. I'm definitely teetering with putting Stroud ahead of Trevor Lawrence. Maybe I'll give Lawrence a 51-49 bump right now, just a teeny tiny one, but I could be very easily swayed. Obviously, I'm putting Lamar ahead of him. I'm putting Joe Burrow ahead of him. So yeah, right now I think his ceiling is 5. If you have Josh Allen is ahead of him. So I'm very comfortably putting Mahomes, Herbert, Lamar, Burrow, and Josh Allen ahead of him. So he's fighting for 6th right now. but that says more about the state of the conference than it does CJ Stroud, right? Now, you very comfortably seemingly believe that he's better than Trevor Lawrence, which means he's the best quarterback in the division. Although the Anthony Richardson thing is really interesting, but we'll see it. So that being said, they seemingly have an easy path to the playoffs. So go get it. Like go capitalize on that. People love to kill Brady for the fact that the Patriots had a horrible division. They took advantage of that. Not like
they won the games they were supposed to.
Well, they were like, "Oh, you're going to give us an easy division to win? Great! Like we'll take the free ticket to the playoffs every single year, and we'll make sure that we're in a proper position to capitalize on that." And I think the Texans are doing that. I think they identified that the Bills had an issue with Stephon Diggs. They said, "Hey, we'll party, we'll dance," and they did it. And good for them. They are so good. Their roster. I mean, I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to look like in 2024 on the field.
It's such a radical difference from just a year ago. Just a year ago, this was the team that was primed. You know, they had another opportunity to one of those 1-2s. They could go get themselves a defender and an offensive guy. They didn't know which quarterback they would get. I'm sure they will tell you now it's CJ. That's who they wanted, but they ended up having to get the other. You know, they didn't get the first, but they got the other. And normally that's the place you want to be. But here we sit. When the news broke yesterday, Greeny saw it. You know, Greeny is not one to lack hyperbole when it comes to quarterbacks and their effect on teams. He thought Aaron Rodgers and just the effect of him being on the roster would change the Jets, and we see where they are. But he looked at him and said they're obviously the odds-on for their own division, but conference, well, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe he can do for C.J. Stroud what he did for Josh Allen, although candidly, Stroud is so far ahead in his development of where Allen was at the same time that the question is not, can Stephon Diggs make C.J. Stroud a superstar? The question is, can Stephon Diggs be the piece that puts Houston over the top in the AFC? I don't think it's overstating it to say this might be that kind of move.
Wow. Over the top.
You know, people acted in 2018 like, no, it wasn't 2018. It was way after that. But people acted like Josh Allen getting Stephon Diggs was such a bad thing. It proved like, oh, how much help does Josh Allen need? That's such a stupid way to look at this. Like, what a horrible idea, giving the best player on your team help to be even better. You know what I mean? Like, what a really ridiculous principle that you would want to abide by as a front office. And there's no question that Josh Allen really struggled at the beginning of his NFL career, but he needed receivers who were great separators. He wasn't a 50-50 ball, high point, go up and get it type of thrower. And that's why they went out. They got Stephon Diggs. They got Cole Beasley, who at the time was an incredible gift for Josh Allen because he was an elite route runner and an elite separator. And that Josh Allen obviously unlocked a lot of who he is today as a passer. And so CJ Stroud's not there. I mean, to the point. And I mean, I really liked the Texans roster as it was. Now, I think that we have to be careful, and I don't mean to now just throw cold water on this and say, and this is just about the Texans. I'm not saying that any of this isn't true about the Cowboys because I know people get upset about this, but the Texans partly won the AFC South because of an all-time collapse by the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Like there was some luck involved. There were a lot of one-score possession or one possession games that they won, things like that, and there's generally some regression to the mean on that in a given, from one year to the next. So
that and schedule too. Keep in mind they're playing a much more difficult schedule.
Yeah, you don't just say like, oh, you're definitely going to be just as good as you were last year, and you're adding all this. But so I think they understand that regression is possible. So they're doing everything they can to keep the floor as high as possible. And that's the mark of an elite front office, that they don't rest on their laurels. So they don't say, oh, it'll be okay. Stroud will just carry us again the way he did last year and blah, 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 whatever. No, they understand there might be an off game. There might be a weird moment. There might be regression. There might be some variance. We have to account in a lot and potentially, predict a lot of that and be ready for any and all circumstances. And I think that they're doing that. That is really, really, really impressive.
So they have addressed just about every issue, or at least every gap on that offense. Mm-hmm. They re-signed their tight end. They've augmented their wide receivers. They got them a running back. There is going to be now you got to go do it, right? as we've talked about, the Spurs have had to speed their clock. Now that they've done everything, how much pressure do you lean on the Texans? Because they are all kind of in, and they are going to have to pay the piper eventually for all these moves.
They're not going to have to pay the piper. They're all in, but that doesn't mean that there's this day of reckoning that's coming for them. If they, continue to flourish as a front office and continue to be forward thinking, they'll be fine. I mean, I'm not. There's no big time, mortgage that's going to have to be paid. They're not refinancing or anything like that. Everything is completely within their range of comfortability, and they understand the moment. They understand, and it's not even just the moment of the rookie quarterback contract. It's the moment of the division, like we talked about with the Patriots. Like the Jaguars are in a state of flux. The Titans are still rebuilding. The Colts are kind of a question mark right now. I mean, what you don't want to do is wait so long that everyone catches up, and then all of a sudden you might be better, but you're in this dogfight to just win your division. You know what I mean? And that's a horrible place to be. So good for the Texans. They have such a bright future ahead of them. I feel very, very confident that CJ Stroud will be the quarterback to deliver them their first world championship at some point throughout his career.
A couple other things around the NFL, and this is kind of a joke because this is just the first step in a long process, but the Kansas City Chiefs trying to get a new stadium. And they had a referendum yesterday that they lost. Funding that could have been voted for to build this new stadium was rejected by the Royals, for the Royals and Chiefs was not passed. And there was an invite from Fort Worth. The Chiefs are originally from the Dallas Metroplex. And the Basses, aren't they Fort Worth types?
I mean, this isn't seriously going to happen, obviously.
But I'm just saying, as a San Antonian, just a couple hours south of Fort Worth, we provide a far more hospitable environment than Fort Worth, Kansas City. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a new place to play, I think if we were told that in 6 weeks we could go to the ballot and vote to build a stadium that Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs would play in a couple years, I think we'd pass it. I'm just saying.
One of the coolest
it's just my invitation to them.
One of the coolest things to me about this story is how Kansas Cityans said no. like how Kansas Cityans were all, oh, you billionaires want to build $1 billion complex? Do it. We're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like that. And I love that and I'm certainly not criticizing the city of San Antonio, but I love that they're all, you want to leave? Let's see. Let's see how serious you are about leaving. Like, I love the gall on Kansas Cityans to call that bluff, because it is a bluff in the Chiefs' case. There's no way they're leaving Kansas City. And so I love that the city said, we are not intimidated by any of this. Get out of town here. No.
That's what Cleveland thought. That's what Seattle thought. I'm not saying that it will ever happen in Kansas City, but it will happen again, where you play chicken and then they leave. I'm all for making billionaires spend billionaire money. I appreciate what they did, and they ain't leaving. But I watch what's going on in Chicago. They were talking about leaving downtown and going up north. That fell apart. Now they're going to go ahead and build that stadium downtown, as they should be. And Kansas City will rebuild a stadium in the parking lot of where Arrowhead is now, as they should. And they will. But the Basses are going to have to spend a little bit more money to do that.
Kudos to the city of Kansas City. I bet the Hunt family were among the most wealthy people in the world of sports, according to Forbes' list. I love that they're being called out. Why should residents pay for this? It's ridiculous. I mean, why should the price of their team being amazing be literal for them? That should not be something they have to pay for.
Well, yeah, I agree. But that's not the modern world. Yet again, we'll talk socialism in a minute. I would like to, as we head out and start talking some college football, congratulate Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory employed yet again. He is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, all that goes along with. I hope he flourishes.
He's such a talented player. I mean, it's unfortunate that it didn't totally work out with the Cowboys, and obviously it's great that he's now able to play consistently. But man, I mean, do you know how long it's been since he was drafted? It's been 9 years at this point. I mean, it's been a very, very, very long time. And it's just, You're just getting to that point in his career.
Nipple rings. I can't think of him without knowing that he had a nipple ring ripped off during practice.
Okay.
That's
I
man.
forgot about that.
That's
I
a
thought
man.
you were just like kind of saying the first thing.
Whenever
that came to your mind
Randy
for whatever
Gregory,
reason.
when I hear Randy Gregory, all I can picture is this poor cat with getting his nipple ring ripped off in practice.
What would it take for
That's
you?
That's just desserts right there.
What would it take for you to experience that?
Far more than what I've got. I can tell you that. Randy Gregory, welcome to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coming back, Super League. That's a term that has been adopted around the world. Will it work in college football? Are conferences going to go by the wayside? And 80 of the best all forming for the modern professional college football world where they can negotiate together and find more money. We'll talk about the potential for the college football to shift yet again coming up around the corner. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, Tri-County Meat Market is my meat market, and it has been for a long time. I'll tell you why. One of the reasons Tri-County kind of jumped to the forefront back when we were kind of locked down way back when is they came to work every day and provided the meat that so many of us were wanting to play with. You know, get in front of a grill and see if we could do something we'd never done before. And what they created over those years was a bunch of grillers, a bunch of guys like me that love to go get a bunch of meat and cook for their friends and family and try to do something cool. And a great meal always starts with great meat coming from Tri-County Meat Market. It's hard to screw it up and make you look good. So head over there today, tomorrow, get yourself some weekend grilling. The specials are in play, but there's things that are always going on at Tri-County. I say it every time I talk about it. The 5 for $25. I went and filled a bag the other day. I got enough of the pork ribs to go along for a couple of days. I love their spare ribs. I got that and a couple other items. There were 2 meals in that bag, and it was only $25. Then I grabbed a couple of rubs that I was running low on because they've got a unique selection of rubs that you're not going to find in those big box stores. And then it comes to the help, what's going on behind the meat counter. No matter what the cut is, they know what it is, and they can tell you how to cook it. And if they don't have what you want, they'll go cut it for you. That's why I love Tri-County. Curated boxes I can put in the freezer to kind of make sure I've always got what I need. They got those too. 2 locations, Huebner Road, Ralph Fair. It's Tri-County Meat Market. Head over there and hang out with some people like mine, people that love to grill. Head to Tri-County today. Put that good meat on the grill. Take a picture of it. Upload it before 6 o'clock today, and you could win a $50 gift card to Tri-County. That's worth its weight in gold right there. Head to Tri-County today. I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, our office this afternoon is going to be top-notch. We are live out at the Valero Texas Open, round 1 underway.
Talking at Texans with John McClain and their big trade to get Stephon Diggs. We'll also talk tournament with Brendan Haywood. He joins us at 4:45. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074 or go to hill-electric.com.
Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind. They're at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price to have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, with the tournament here, the college basketball pick'em is the easiest way to get in on the action and a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports. You've made your bracket. It's probably already kind of ugly. Well, there's another way to keep playing with your bracket already busted. It's the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry. And all you have to do is select higher or lower on all different kinds of stats in this week's tournament games for a chance to win big. Up to 100 times your money in a single night. Endless projections to choose from. Create your own experience. So download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll get a mystery special pick to use in your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, historic rivalries tip off with shareable bites, and every shot you take is a game winner. All season long, you're ballin' with 29-degree beer, courtside seats, and scenic views. I mean, where else can you pair wall-to-wall hoops with hard-to-find whiskey? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check out the 2024 Basketball Mayhem at sasportstar.com. Enter your best bracket for the chance to win an incredible $1 million prize at sasportstar.com.
Hey, huddle up. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson, sitting on the driving range at the Valero, Texas Open as the sun is up, starting to warm up just a bit. Can't wait to see everybody come out, see the first round of the VTO. They're about to head off as everybody getting warmed up. That's RJ Ochoa, comfortable as always, editing the Blogging the Boys. Lots of NFL talk today, but let's talk some college football real quick. You know, as soon as we start putting the college football world to bed with great expectations of the season coming and a big old playoff, things are still shifting. We're not done with what's becoming in the college football world. And the latest, an amalgamation, where as with all these new problems that are running, that the college football world has run into with the portal and the pay and the NIL and all the other things that we bitch about, the easiest fix is to get everybody in the same room, put them in the same organization. And to do that, you'd have to kind of eliminate the conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten primarily, because they're the two biggest dogs going right now. According to Andrew Marchant of the Athletic, and there's somebody else in there, Stuart Mandel, there's a group in the college football world called College Sports Tomorrow that is encompassed by some college presidents, some ADs. I don't know who they are, but obviously there's some shakers in there that envision a system that would have its top 70 teams plus 10 that would rule the world. They would be the super conference, and then they would be broken up into divisions according to, I guess, region or, I don't know, primary study. I don't know. and then we'd come through a champion there. But all those teams would be under one umbrella where they would be accountable to the same rules, the same pay structure, the same portal stuff. There'd be no differentiation from one state to the other. You could have a collective bargained agreement between players and management, whoever management is, and we could kind of create this football world that is professional football. But that would involve something that we're not accustomed to in the United States, relegation, which might be the sticking point.
It would be fascinating. I think everybody wants to see that in different contexts and different sports, but there's just no way. There's no way that any school signs up for a world where they put themselves at risk of losing a piece of the pie. I mean, one of the more profitable things in the world is just existing in a Power 5 or what used to be a Power 5 conference school because of television rights. And if you put yourself at risk of losing that, nobody would sign up for that. Nobody would live on the edge like that. Nobody.
Well, according to the to Marchand and Stewart, this was brought up and presidents listened, but the primary sticking point aren't an individual, but it is the ACC. Because the ACC is dealing with their own problems right now, and I think they're trying to fix their own boat. As Florida State and Clemson are trying to get out, they hate the TV deal that the ACC has, that had been formed together, and there's this stake that holds these teams together, this conference together, that the buyout is so utterly ridiculous, it's impossible to leave. But the Clemson and Florida State are hoping that they can band together and break things up. So I think that's going to have to be rectified first before anything else moves forward. But the idea of one super conference to rule them all seems awfully easy in the minds of a lot of these guys that are administrating the sport, because the problems they're dealing with are so much larger than themselves. They can't fix them because other folks can't fix theirs. This might be the first step. What do you think? 656-3776, 656-ESPN. We'll be talking about that. The Cowboys and the Spurs getting busy coming up next. This is San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Are you the cup is half empty or the cup is half full kind of person? Or are you my cup overflows kind of person? Ben Stein writes, I cannot tell you anything that in a few minutes will tell you how to be rich, but I can tell you how to feel rich, which is far better, let me tell you firsthand, than being rich. Be grateful. It's the only totally reliable get-rich-quick scheme. End of quote. There is more to gratitude than training ourselves to pay attention to what is going right in our lives. Gratitude is the sense of gladness you have that a gift has been given and it must be acknowledged. And that's the challenge, not just to see it, but to acknowledge it. And in so doing, gratitude changes you. One researcher reveals that gratitude expressing people experience higher positive emotions like optimism and enthusiasm while being protected from destructive impulses like resentment and bitterness. So here's the challenge. If you feel grateful, express it. This is Mark Absher with the MacArthur Park Church of Christ. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
Hard work, dedication, and dreams. These are the keystones of success. But easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. And getting your max refund guarantee definitely doesn't hurt. But let others think you did a lot of hard work to file your taxes when in reality, it was a walk in the park. No, you literally filed while walking your dog in the park. Winner! because some key info is pre-filled for you so you can file quickly and confidently like the boss that you are. So give yourself the peace of mind that comes with getting expert help, because you're going places. Let's go. And make tax season feel like it's award season with easy filing. Yeah! Know that you're backed by the leading tax preparer, TurboTax, and we'll show you all your filing options up front, so there are no surprises. Feel accomplished and confident that your taxes are done right. File an Intuit Credit Karma today. Ah, yeah. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile Smart Quad Door Refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
94.1 San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Houston Texans continued their aggressive offseason, pulling off a blockbuster deal. They brought in a superstar wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, from the Buffalo Bills. They also got a 6th-round and a 5th-round pick from the Bills, and they sent a few that way as well. The Cowboys signed former and now current Cowboy offensive lineman Chuma Edoga.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got a bunch to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson, sitting comfortably on top of the driving range at the Valero Texas Open. Thank goodness the sun is out and the warmth is spreading our way. I just need to move my table directly into the sun if you're watching live. A little bit to my right, a little bit to my left. I'm in the bitter cold in the middle. That's RJ Ochoa, warm and cuddly in his office, looking nice in his Houston Astros apparel. We got a fun day in front of us, not the least of which includes the VTO and all that's going on. I noticed as I started the segment, though, I did get a couple of golfers turn and look this way. I do need to be hushed just a little bit to make sure that their drives are appropriate in preparation for a full day of golf here at the VTO. I'm excited. It's first day of spring in my mind, despite the fact that it's like 48 degrees here. But look forward to seeing everybody out here. It's one of those things that I only get to see people out on like the 13th hole. There's some guys I'll only see on the 13th. And I can't wait to see you today, guys. Keep them cold. I'll see you this afternoon.
Well, there are already players on the course.
Yes, they've already teed off.
The coverage is on ESPN Plus if anybody would like to watch it up until
I'm watching
channel
it here
later on this afternoon. So, yeah, You should shout. You know what I mean, Rob? Don't stop being yourself.
As I see Colin Morikawa on the TV now putting, I saw he was first on the tee this morning. He was first.
That's your guy. That's your horse.
That's the guy. So I'm jumping on the Morikawa train. He was first, but I didn't realize that he was the first on the range because he was probably first off. But he was indeed the first one that we saw this morning in the darkness that was the Valero Texas Open. This place is as beautiful as it's ever been. The weather coming up, that we got rain at the right times. The sun's been great. So everybody, while we've been bitching about having to mow a little bit more than we're accustomed to this early, the TPC looks spectacular. It is beautiful and ready to go. Our city's gonna look mighty nice on the national TV scene over the next couple of days as I'm watching us live right now.
Do you see yourself?
No, I don't. Well, although I do, it's on our YouTube feed, and you can do the same if you hit YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. You get all the proper notifications, and you can see us sitting comfortably where we belong every morning. This hour, we're talking some NFL as the Cowboys, not to be outdone by the Houston Texans acquisition of Stephon Diggs, did address a need, and they did it in a very cost-effective and appropriate way. It was one of those first-class, by-the-numbers NFL moves that we have come to praise the Dallas Cowboys for over the many years. Bargain basement shopping for an offensive lineman. Hey, this was a good move. We're not mad at this, right? Chuma Edoga, we know what he can do. He's been here before. He can play a couple of positions. He fills the bill and was gotten at the least amount of money you can possibly spend on an NFL veteran.
No, I'm not mad about this. I don't know anybody who should be or could be. He is legitimate depth, a starting experience. That's a valuable thing to have. They got him for pennies on the dollar because, well, duh. But the context of everything is what makes this frustrating and annoying. Given that, it's April 4th and they've barely done anything in free agency. It's April 4th and they only have one external free agent signing. Given that it happened 5 minutes after the Texans traded for Stephon Diggs, do you what's your memory like on the catalog of Friends?
Pretty good, pretty solid.
Do you remember the episode where Rachel thinks she broke Joey's chair? We were talking about chairs earlier. She thinks she broke his chair, Rosita, and he's devastated. And she takes him to the furniture store, I don't know if it's Lazy Boy, whatever, and she buys him a new chair, new reclining chair. And it's this like badass, massaging, has a cooler in the armrest type thing. And he's like, awesome. But then the chair, they believe it to be healed. That's the kind of the plot of the episode. And Joey's like, awesome, my chair is good. And Rachel says, well, I'll just keep this one to myself then. We'll have two chairs. And so then fast forward, they're sitting in the living room. And Rachel's got like sound speakers in the, in the cushions. And she's like, this is so awesome. And Joey sits there. He's like, well, my chair heals itself. And he's like clearly so bitter about, not having the fancy, cool chair. Well, that was yesterday. I mean, every Texas it was like, we have Stephon Diggs. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Our offense is going to be amazing. And every Cowboys fan said, yeah, well, we have depth on the offensive line.
Chuma knows where the park and he knows where the bathrooms are. He already knows the building, so we don't even have to. We save time already. We don't have to give him.
Stephon's got to get a security card. All right, y'all really messed up here. So,
okay. So as we bring him in, now we have to start looking toward the draft and all the other things that go into the draft. And we don't really, we always talk for college sports and recruiting, the official visit. It matters. We look at the visits like, is he going to commit? Will he go? Will he get on him, or is it going to be a verbal for now? I mean, how are we sitting? But the draft involves visits as well, official visits. And watching the Cowboys, is there any indicator by the official visit whether that's something? Is it just a get to know you just in case, or if you come in, if you're available, we're going to draft you?
The Cowboys are beholden to their 30 visits. You can read a lot. Oh, yeah. You can read. They will definitely draft one, if not two players from this list, presuming everything, works out and they're available and things like that. But
explain to me the draft. Explain to me the visit, because there's two different types of visits. There's the local visit, and then there's the distant visit.
You get 30 visits, and you can invite whoever you want.
So you get 30 of the potential NFL draft dudes you get to invite into the building. Okay.
Now, they are mostly, generally, high profile, going to be first, second, top 100 picks, first, second round, top 100 picks generally, mostly in that variety. But you don't want to just bring in, the 30 top prospects in a class, because you're not, you know what I mean? Like that would be kind of a waste of your time, because
you aren't going to get them anyway.
Exactly. You're not going to get a lot of them. So you are kind of also somewhat showing your cards, right? The Cowboys are bringing in a lot of linebackers. They're bringing in some offensive linemen. They're bringing in some running backs. So this can really, you can really kind of discern where the parameters that they're setting up for where they're going to target throughout the draft. And they're bringing in some day 2, some day 3 guys, because they need to have these conversations and want to get some information from dudes who might be available then that they could potentially draft. So again, it's not always just your blue chip prospects, so to speak, but those you get 30 of those, and that's the limit. Now, you want to be strategic with those, because you also get what the Cowboys call a Dallas day. It's a local day. This applies to every team in the NFL, but for them, it's obviously Dallas, and it works out for them geographically.
So geographically, when we say Dallas day, does that mean that it's a free day to bring in guys from Houston?
It's a free day to bring in
a proximity, like only 150 miles. Does it count for today?
I don't know what the exact geographical, like what the radius is, but it is generally all local high schools, people who went there, or local colleges, namely.
All right, they're not precluding. It's just another avenue for guys to get their stuff out there.
But I mean, and that's your SMU guys. I mean, obviously that's really local, but your UNT guys, whatever. But like, it also applies to your Baylor guys or your Tech guys or your TCU guys. That's obviously more local
high school
as well.
Ball there
as well, but you want to be strategic about that, because you'll get a chance to talk to those people who went to the UTs and the A&Ms and whatever, and maybe you don't burn a 30 visit on one of those guys, because you get an opportunity to talk to them naturally. That's, again, the advantage you have of being the Dallas Cowboys as opposed to, the New England Patriots or whatever. And so that being said, Jonathan Brooks, the running back out of Texas, is still a 30 visit for the Cowboys, which again, you can, when you contextualize everything in a given year, you can tell yourself, well, they had an opportunity to talk to him at Dallas State, and even at the combine and things like that, they still wanted a 30 visit. You know what I'm saying? So that really kind of tells you how seriously they're approaching at least this particular prospect.
On bloggingtheboys.com, you put together a pretty good list of the 30 visits, and you're right. Going down, I won't profess to know a player and how good they are if they're coming out of Wisconsin. I don't know these guys, but the position groups do matter. Lots of linebackers, lots of running backs, lots of offensive tackles. So at least as I look at that, the talent acquirers up there from Will McClay and on, and been upset about the free agent chase, at least in my mind, they're looking at the right position groups. I mean, these are the dudes that we all know they need.
Yeah, and it's partly this way because of what they did and didn't do in free agency. I mean, imagine if they had signed or re-signed Tony Pollard or signed Derrick Henry or whatever, they could be looking elsewhere. And that's just where we are.
So the Dallas day already happened. That was over the weekend.
Correct. That was, I think, Monday. So it was actually a more quiet affair. It's normally kind of loud and reported on, but it kind of just happened, in the dead of night, so to speak. And so the 30 visits are now, on their way and happening or in the process. And a lot of action took place over the last 48 hours or so. But now it's, finalizing your board and things like that. And again, I cannot stress how important it is to look at this list. And we are tracking all the reported visits at bloggingtheboys.com, as you mentioned, because I think there have been 2 instances since 2011, which was the dawn of, it's now 3 CBAs old, but the modern NFL that we know it to be based off the 2011 CBA, I think since then they have they've gone with a non-30 visit in the first round twice.
Really?
One of which was Morris Claiborne, who was just such a highly evaluated prospect that they traded up to get him. And I believe the other was Zach Martin. And some of that is like, you're not bringing in dudes for 30 visits who, aren't going to realistically make it to you. You know what I mean? Like that you don't believe will. And sometimes the draft just goes a certain way and you ultimately, it works out for you in a certain, cash.
I was interested to see on this list if, there's not a lot of wide receivers, and I don't know what the few that are on this list. I don't know what kind of receiver they are, high point, big body, speed types, whatever they might be. But I'm curious to see if, in fact, they bring in somebody that is, applicable only to the new kickoff rule, that this is a guy that probably wouldn't even make the league, but for you got a little bit of wiggle in the hole, as they say. You know what I mean? You got some kind of movement that we don't got that will only apply to a couple of kickoffs a game. I don't know if there's any of those guys on there, but you got to know there's guys that today are going to make the league that weren't going to make it just a couple of weeks ago because of the new kickoff.
I think that there are probably a handful of undrafted free agents who will make the league, but probably not first-round picks that are going to be 30 visits or anything like that. But you're right. There is somebody who has just a high, insane level of speed or processing or block reading that will find a home as a result of this. I don't know if Xavier Worthy is that dude. I mean, I think he's going to be I guarantee you, whenever he's picked by whoever it is, that in the breakdown that, Daniel Jeremiah is doing, they'll be like, I tell you what, he might offer an advantage and blah, blah. And that might be true, but I don't know that it's the impetus for drafting him at this point.
And I don't know if it's just my perception, but I feel like every receiver that ever played at TCU has an opportunity to be one of the kick returners. They all seem to be the same type of guy. Coming up, we're about 30 hours away from history being made. We saw it broken earlier in the week, the most viewed basketball game in the history of ESPN and the most viewed college basketball game for women ever viewed. Will it break on Friday? You're pretty sure it will, as we get the showdown. The Final Four begins Friday night for the ladies. Let's look at it. And will the viewership carry into the WNBA when they kickstart their season later on in the year? We're talking basketball, and the most important basketball is on the ladies' side. That's coming next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, our office this afternoon is going to be top notch. We are live out at the Valero Texas Open, round 1 underway.
Talking at Texans with John McClain and their big trade to get Stephon Diggs. We'll also talk tournament with Brendan Haywood. He joins us at 4:45. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Do you want the most money for your used car and a hassle-free process? Give me the VIN. We'll beat your written CarMax offer or write you a check for $100. It's that simple. Give me the VIN is fast, easy, reliable, and pays top dollar for your car. It's that simple. Give me the VIN is A+ rated by the BBB. Get an instant cash offer and the most money for your used car right now at GiveMeTheVIN.com. America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVIN.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, These are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, with the tournament here, the college basketball pick'em is the easiest way to get in on the action and a fan favorite way to play fantasy sports. You've made your bracket. It's probably already kind of ugly. Well, there's another way to keep playing with your bracket already busted. It's the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry. And all you have to do is select higher or lower on all different kinds of stats in this week's tournament games for a chance to win big, up to 100 times your money in a single night. Endless projections to choose from. Create your own experience. So download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll get a mystery special pick to use in your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Kinetico water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Kinetico water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Kinetico water softener. Call the team at Kinetico at 656-PURE or online at KineticoSA.com. That's 656-PURE or KineticoSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Check out the 2024 Basketball Mayhem at sasportstar.com. Enter your best bracket for the chance to win an incredible $1 million prize at sasportstar.com.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle, and it's warming up here at the Valero Texas Open. The sun is out. The sky is blue. They are on the course as I'm watching the Golf Channel live. Beautiful day out here at the Valero Texas Open, and I cannot wait to get it going. We're glad you're with us. Come out and see us. We're out at the driving range. We'll be here today and tomorrow. The tournament is going, and it is in full force as I'm watching group stores start scrolling around. The ladies get playing again tomorrow night, and the UConn-Iowa game, by the time we finally get there, you know, so far, everything that we wanted to see with the ladies from the beginning of the season till now has showed up. I mean, we thought Caitlin had a chance to be something special, and man, oh man, has she ever been. And LSU continued to win. South Carolina is the juggernaut that we thought they might be. Paige Buchers is back and healthy. We had Juju on the West Coast bringing back a USC program that we hadn't seen in a long time. And suddenly, ladies basketball has not only come back every juncture. And here comes the big one. It'll be the most viewed college basketball game that a woman has played in ever. And certainly the most that ESPN has ever seen. Can it possibly live up to the hype?
I think it can, and I think it will. I think we are on the verge of. We talked yesterday about how this group of women feels like the 1983 NFL draft, the Elway Marino draft.
Mm-hmm.
How it feels like the 2003 NBA draft, right? You had all this just massive infusion of talent. And I think that there are inflection points in sports like that where you look back and a class kind of changed everything. And this class has a real chance to change the landscape of the WNBA, and I think garner an enormous amount of interest in the WNBA. I do think there will be a lot of people who follow that maybe weren't interested in the WNBA as much before, that now are just kind of riding the momentum and the wave that this particular class is generating.
You just answered my question. I was going to say, for so many of the folks that are just now, and it's the Caitlin effect, much like the Tiger effect, that, you'd heard and you were kind of a golf fan, but when Tiger showed up, you were all in. You wore what he wore. You watched, you were there from the beginning to the end. You did it. And Caitlin has that sense, this Tiger wave that's coming to college, that's coming to just basketball in general, specifically to college. But can that wave join with the WNBA and the consistency and the relegation that the WNBA has gone from? I would say today that the ladies' game in college has a higher prestige level than the WNBA for a lot of things. And Caitlin being fresh and new, will that translate when we see not just Caitlin, but Angel Reese is going, and man, oh man, for the last year she's been as front and center as anybody. Paige Bucher's coming out of UConn, is another transcendent kind of star. As Claymore said, the 84 draft, the 96 NBA draft. Mm-hmm. This is this year. Will it carry forward? Will we watch the stars? Will we pay attention to the Liberty and all of them? Once they're not wearing the Iowa jersey and they're playing 3 times a week on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights and Sunday afternoons.
I still think, I don't know that the timing of days or the timing of games matters so much anymore. I think that what matters a lot is highlights and moments and what you see and the push alerts and push notifications you get. And I think that ropes you and pulls you in when significant moments come around and playoffs come around. I think that I would bet next year's WNBA playoffs, see a massive influx of attention, because that's the case with the NBA even is, regular season games don't do well or don't do inordinately well from a ratings perspective, but the playoffs balloon. And that's the same because it's an incredibly long season. That's just the reality of it.
Do you have any paraphernalia that is female centered, that, women's sports centered other than soccer?
I have soccer and golf. I have LPGA apparel. So
what is it? Just an LPGA apparel, or is it for a specific athlete?
It's not a specific athlete, but it is just the league as a whole.
All right, but as far as, do you have any female jersey, shirt, or anything for anything other than women's soccer?
No. There's no jersey in golf. To your point, but
I'm just saying, but you don't have like the Tiger Woods red polo that we all know is the Tiger Woods jersey. You don't have anything like that.
No,
what I'm getting at is, are you ready? Would you walk out tomorrow and buy some sort of Caitlin-centered whatever? Not I'm not going to buy a jersey because I don't own anybody's jersey. But if I had the chance to buy a Caitlin logoed whatever,
I would 100%.
I think we're
get
there.
A Caitlin Clark jersey. But at this point, all due respect to the Fever, at this point, I'd want an Iowa jersey. You know what I mean?
Would it be okay? And that's another question. As she leaves, are you going to go back and turn on an Iowa game next year, or does it have to be Caitlin?
No, the program is interesting, and I think that the program, we've talked a lot, obviously, throughout the tournament about UConn and Gino and what he's done and what they've done. You look at LSU, obviously, South Carolina. Those programs, granted,
but those are all, go ahead.
Well, but granted, UConn has Paige, and so that she's certainly propelling things. And I'm not trying to act like, South Carolina and LSU don't have their fair share of star power, but they don't have Caitlin or even Paige. I guess, LSU has had Angel, but they've also had a lot of success. But I do think that Iowa's going to have some staying power. They're going to have some recruiting power and some prowess now that obviously all works as a result of all this thing, if they're smart enough, and I trust them to be. So, yeah, I think that ultimately the Blue Bloods stay the Blue Bloods, but there are new arrivals that find a seat at the table, and that could be the Hawkeyes starting now.
I find it interesting that when you talked about the rest of the Final Four, and you named of the 4 programs, 3 of them are boasting coaches that are Hall of Famers. I mean, that are literally, they're bigger than the programs. That, you think UConn, I think UConn, but really it's Gino. It's the legacy that he's put together. And for South Carolina, Dawn Staley, I think of her first. Now, there's been talent that's come through and a title that's been won with great talent, but it's her program. It's Dawn Staley who's at South Carolina. It's Gino that's at UConn. Their name is as big as the brand that they have. LSU, the same way, that the coach, Mulkey, is as big as the LSU basketball program. But Iowa, it's the player. And that's, I don't know if that's the best thing, because that's rather transient. I'm there because it's Caitlin. I'm not there because it's Gino. And I'm not sure what's the best thing it's certainly a happy medium, but I love the idea that not only do we have a Final Four that is full of first-round WNBA talent, but the coaches, the longevity are there too. It's the old school Final Four that we love for the men. Not only did we have the first-round draft pick, but we had Krzyzewski, and we have Izzo, and we have Williams, and we have both. And for the ladies, it's always been about the coach, and who does he have or who does she have this year? Now, who's the guy, who's the girl, and who's their coach?
It feels a little bit like Johnny, because Caitlin is to Johnny, and Kevin Sumlin was not this. He was not in the same sphere as Nick Saban or whoever at the time, right? Like Kevin Sumlin was not this blue blood of a coach. He was the coach along for the ride. Right. In fact, I would argue Cliff was more famous, at that moment in time. So it wasn't even Sumlin who was the kind of face of what was happening there. It was just Johnny, the way it's Caitlin. So that's college athletics as a whole sometimes. Like once you become that coach, that's just kind of, the way people talk about you wherever you are. But, Iowa's not UConn. And so some of it just takes time. You have to build all that as a program.
There was a great question that was on the Brigade Bar. Edwin put it back up. It was Marco Mendez that brought it up there. What's going to happen first? A lady getting a head coaching job in the NBA, and certainly there's Becky primary, but there's others that have interviewed that have potential for that, or a WNBA player getting her own signature shoe, like a Nike or a Adidas, whoever might step forward. If Caitlin Clark is not wearing a Nike Caitlin by the time she starts playing sometime soon, then they have dropped the ball. I firmly believe that the shoe deal is going to be imminent. I can't imagine, because I was just saying, I am ready to buy her gear.
Yeah,
I want it. Give it to me.
I think Caitlin, there's so many women who have, blazed trails and worked really hard to open doors for other people who follow them. And I think Caitlin is, I don't want to say benefiting from that as if she's not doing things like that her own. But I saw, you brought up the women's national team. I saw Alex Morgan wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey, right? Like it helps Caitlin from a branding perspective that she has these women who have established themselves and who have had to fight through all these things themselves. Kind of leading the charge. To your point, like if there is Caitlin Clark gear, whatever. I mean, she's if it isn't happening, what are we doing here? I mean, what's going on here? It would be ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't imagine where I won't have immediate access to something like that sooner than later. Certainly, by the time the WNBA kicks into gear. We'll continue talking. The ladies were just about there, but the men around the corner as well. Not a lot of change in the lines for the teams that are coming, but we'll look closely at what might have affected DJ Burns, a big battle that's coming to us on Saturday. Around the corner, we're sitting at the Valero Texas Open. Let's check the leaderboard and see what's happening. Houston Texans were busy yesterday. How far ahead are they of the rest of their division, and how close are they to a Super Bowl? That's more coming that direction. We're checking in at the Valero Texas Open next. Go get your blazer, go get your hat, and come out and see us. We're at the Let's Talking Golf next here on 94.1. You're on San Antonio Sports Star. BetUS.com is the only book that I have ever endorsed here at San Antonio Sports Star. When I first stepped in with them, I'm a little reticent. You never knew about the books, but this has been a little over a decade ago. Back then, You just hoped. Now, you don't have to hope with BetUS.com. They have always paid consistently on time, and they've always taken care of me as a customer. And if you're a new customer to BetUS.com, they have a deal the likes which they've never had before. They'd like to match your first 3 deposits with up to 125% matching offer. That's unheard of. Never seen it before. It's available right now. Go to BetUS.com. Give them a call at 1-800-MY-BETUS. They'll take care of you. Go ahead and start playing because they've got everything you need once you're there. They've got all the teasers, all the props, all the live betting, everything you're chasing, all the knowledge, all the info, great, instant, easy lays. They've also got casino action, which kind of separates them from others. While you're there, go check out the casino, cards, games, all the casino action you're chasing. They've got it. A trustworthy site. I endorse only those that I trust and I play, and that is BetUS.com. They got 10% gambler's insurance, and if you're bringing crypto to the party, the matching bonuses are utterly incredible. Go to BetUS.com. Call them at 1-800-BET-US. Get yourself going, use their money, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
With 64 games in the books, UConn, Purdue, NC State, and Alabama now converge on Phoenix with just 2 more wins needed to claim the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Tune in this Saturday to hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Final Four.
It's all come down to this, the 2024 Final Four, Saturday at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely. Totalmente. Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate with autopay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack. And of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Sadly, statistics show that 1 out of every 3 women in the U.S. will encounter physical abuse from an intimate partner, and violence against children persist. Christie's Hope strives to overcome domestic violence by providing critical financial support to shelters that offer housing, healing, and preventative measures. Thomas J. Henry proudly collaborates with Christie's Hope in the shared mission to end domestic violence and empower victims. Join us in building a legacy of hope. Donate today at christieshope.org.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Are you ready to party with a purpose? Taste of the Northside is Thursday, April 18th at the beautiful Security Service Event Center. This elevated fiesta event for foodies includes on-site covered parking, entertainment, unlimited tastings from over 30 premier restaurants, countless curated wines and craft beers, hosted by Brighton Center, presented by HEB. Purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, the largest nonprofit in San Antonio, serving children with disabilities through pediatric therapy and education initiatives. Have you gotten your hands on Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB yet? Southern Recipe small batch offers big, bold flavors like hot honey, spicy dill, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Bonus, you're going to love the low-carb, high-protein crunch. Turn snack time from ordinary to extraordinary with flavorful pork rinds. Pick up your favorite flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at HEB today. Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. Coming up on the Blitz, we are live out at the Valero Texas Open. Round 1 underway. Can't wait for that. It is exciting. And, of course, everybody in Houston excited about the big trade yesterday for Stephon Diggs. We'll talk to the General John McClain about that. And the NCAA tournament continues this weekend. Brendan Haywood will join us to discuss all of that. Hey, Rob, don't forget to leave snacks under the chairs.
Thanks, Joe. I'm keeping your seat warm right here. You're going to have to look underneath, see if we've left you a prize out here at the Valero Texas Open. It'll be a lightly used hand warmer that I placed in a very appropriate place early in the morning to keep my body warm. That's all I'm going to say. How you doing, RJ?
I'm doing fabulous.
There was a hesitation there that I found a little concerning.
Yeah, I was looking for the right word. Fabulous.
Well, we're live at the Valero Texas Open. We've been here for a couple hours. Sun is up. It is warming up, and the play has begun. And I'll tell you, watching it on the Golf Network, we look spectacular. San Antonio is shining pretty this morning as the blue sky comes. And, the world's coming. Too bad the Valero Texas Open isn't just a couple of days from now. We could have had the VTO, and then halfway through, right about whatever time it's going to be on Monday, when it gets dark, we could have had a little 5-minute party, and then come back up, and then done it again. Are you adequately prepared for the eclipse?
Yeah. Do you have the glasses? I do.
We have leftovers. We had us an eclipse just a couple of months back, and it was a partial. So I've got the glasses. I have a welder's mask on the property too, which is, for me, by far the best way to do it. If you have access to a welder's mask, you're head and shoulders above.
Have you ever welded before?
No.
I was going to say,
I have, but not well.
I've done, well, no pun intended. I've done some TIG welding in the past.
Yeah, a little TIG welding. Me too.
Yeah. If you're not talking about TIG welding before 9 a.m., are you really living?
Yeah, I've gotten some things really, really hot before and just got them stuck together. Not necessarily the way I wanted it to, but it did stick. But I was seeing a show the other day that Kerrville got about 25,000 people. They're expecting 75,000 people to show up in Kerrville alone because they're in one of those lines of totality. Ever been in a line of totality, RJ?
I have not.
Well, this one will include nearly 4.5 minutes of darkness coming up on Monday, if you're in the right line of totality. I'm a little south of the line of totality. I'm less than total. I'm getting about 3 hours and 3 minutes and 45 seconds of absolute sheer bliss and darkness that's coming. Where are you going to be? Is it, you're going to stay out in the front yard? You're going to go gather amongst people? You're going to go pray? You're going to go do something?
The backyard. I'm going to the backyard and just kind of. Yeah, I saw a thing. My eclipse knowledge is low, if I'm being quite honest. I don't know the effects of it all, but I saw a thing that was cautioning people how to deal with their pets. It was one of those, it's July 2nd kind of announcement, hey, watch out, here come the fireworks sort of thing. Is this something that can impact pets in a large way? I really don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I hope
that's what
not.
I'm saying. It didn't feel like that, but I could be wrong.
Well, I imagine there's some kind of something going on, but I don't think I need to. I hope not. Could they go feral when it goes dark? Something happens and they all.
I really don't know.
Should I be concerned about this? This sounds like the beginning of a movie. Did anybody see the headline about putting your dogs up because when it gets dark they all go crazy?
I really don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this a common thing?
It is when it happens, and I know it's just kind of a brief swath across the country. The whole country ain't going to go dark, just this one area, right? Is like everything just going to stop? Are we all just going to stop work and I'll go outside? How's this supposed to work? Like if I'm driving and it's almost time to, am I allowed to like just pull over and gaze, or do I have to keep driving?
I also saw along these lines that there was a petition to let kids out of school to see.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to be insensitive to the eclipse, but is this that? Like, is this of that?
Dude, it has
size?
The eclipse like this hasn't hit San Antonio like this in like 600 years. Like a little like 623 or 4 years it's been since this kind of thing has happened. And here's the weird thing. I don't get this at all. It's going to happen again in like 14, 15 years.
That makes sense, though. Like if you consider the position that we're in. You know,
I guess.
Alberto says in the Brigade Bar, I'm stopping work and going to my kid's school to watch it. So yeah, like it is like a, I just, I'm not an eclipse, person, I guess. I mean, but that makes sense that it would happen again. Like we're in a window of eclipses.
But just around the corner, I aspire to see two.
You want to see
two? So I want to see the next one. I think it's in like 2040.
It's not that far.
No, it's really not. It's a worthy aspiration, and I'm going to hold on to my glasses.
Your eclipse glasses, to be clear.
My eclipse glasses. I'm not gonna get rid of them. They're being sold.
So you're gonna hold on to these paper glasses for a decade and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you got to plan ahead.
Can you name something if you guys in your house that you've had for 16 years?
Yes. I got a thing legit on my feed because I've been geofenced, obviously, that somebody in Barney is charging just a little bit of money, and it was more than I could have imagined. You can go park at their house. They'll give you a lawn chair. You can sit out back, and they'll feed you lunch, and they'll have musical accompaniment. And it was several $100s. I'd like to extend the same offer at my house. If you'd like to come to my house, I'll set a lawn chair out. You don't even if it's after the eclipse, I'm just going to put like a spotlight on you, and then I'll put like a cover over the front, and we'll pretend like it's an eclipse, and I'll play you some music. And a couple $100 later, I'll even make a T-shirt. I'll have a T-shirt for you. And
just raising a sheet.
Yeah, we can pretend. And you can say you lived through the great eclipse of 24 in the line of totality. And you can just sit out back with me, and a couple $100 later, you will have had the full eclipse experience. There's somebody actually selling that.
I see, like my problem with selling this is, are you an eclipse professional? Can you guarantee that you have the spot? Has a meteorologist come to your house and said, this is this latitude and longitude, set on the Earth is the best spot to view the eclipse?
I'm within 40 miles of the best spot.
If there's a mile radius, then I'm not paying $100 to go anywhere. If I'm
40% off, all I ask is 60%. So instead of $200, I'll let you in for $110.
No, I'm saying the fact that they're charging that much is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they got totality. They got a little bit more. Like Kerrville, I think.
Why would you pay $200 to go to this person's house when you could go to a Whataburger down the street for nothing?
Well, general atmosphere. I mean, where else are you going to get your own lawn chair?
Now you're vibe chasing?
I'll put together a playlist of songs appropriately to eclipses. Right when it gets completely dark, there'll be a little bit of Total Eclipse of the Heart playing, like the entire world will be playing all at the same time. I'll have that for you. Maybe some songs by the band Eclipse. Maybe I'll put you in a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and we will listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart while we are watching an eclipse. That's worth some money, right?
I'm sad that you took the low-hanging fruit of that song. But that's your eclipse song. I thought you were going to have a cooler, eclipse song than this. But
because at the last eclipse I was at in my backyard, that was the soundtrack. Again, I didn't choose it then, but it seemed most appropriate. What is the most appropriate eclipse? No, I think this is a question.
No, but
what's the song I should be playing?
Well, picking that song is the equivalent of like, we call him Tyler Badass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like that's what you did with your eclipse song right there.
I did think of her first. before anybody else. I mean, it's real. I know a lot of people are talking about total eclipse of the heart, but really, when I first heard that we were going to have an eclipse like 15 years ago, I
was
thought,
the first person
play?
to,
You know what I'm going to play? I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm going to play Total Eclipse of the Heart. I'm going to step out there and do what nobody else is going to do. But that, that's just me. I thought of it before anybody else did.
Here's the song. Have you know how on like when we get to New Year's, people will share and they'll post, they'll tweet or TikTok, whatever. Like, if you start this movie at 10, 13 and 14 seconds, then at midnight this exact thing will happen. So you back time it. And you play In the Air Tonight to where the it hits right when the darkness drops. That's what you do.
Okay, so I think we could actually. So you think that the In the Air Tonight is the appropriate song, not Total Eclipse of the Heart?
I think that's what you have to do. Like, you don't have to play off the pun. It doesn't have to be like a dark. You said yourself, you're vibe chasing. Like, you've got to have a tranquil kind of moment that gets elevated the moment the darkness hits. Maybe a song by the darkness. Maybe you go with I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
Okay, so that's another one. I need some better songs. Totally. What's her name? Bonnie. It's not Bonnie Raitt, is it? Bonnie Tyler. That's right. Thanks, Greg Shelton. I need something. What would be another appropriate song? Because I am kind of at a loss. Something in the air tonight. Well, it's not night.
It's not something in the air tonight. It's called In the Air Tonight.
Oh,
again,
wait,
you could also go really. You could go really
we've got
jovial.
a playlist here.
If you don't want to go Phil Collins specifically, maybe you throw some Genesis out there. You know what I mean? Like, I maybe some Sussudio. If you really want to like bop around.
I'm going to give you a few. Blinded by the Light by Bruce Springsteen.
Okay,
that's not a bad one. Solar Eclipse, which is by Young Boy.
Again, I hate all of these already. Like, I hate the low hanging fruitness of this. Okay,
how about I lost one. How about Blue Moon?
The doo-wop song?
How about 7 by Taylor Swift?
I don't know.
Cat Stevens' Moon Shadow.
Again, this is all really
La Noche de Noche by Bad Bunny. And there's a lot of Eclipse songs. Pink Floyd's got an Eclipse song.
These aren't Eclipse songs. These are just songs about nighttime or darkness or whatever. That doesn't make them Eclipse songs.
Well, what the heck? Well, an eclipse is darkness. So
no, but this song, the one that we're hearing, is the only Eclipse song. And even that.
What about a song that's called Eclipse?
No, but this song isn't even about darkness. It's about someone's heart. It's about like being hurt emotionally. It has nothing to do with the time of day.
But they say eclipse. It's one louder. But RJ, you don't get it. They're saying the word eclipse.
They're saying the word of the thing.
And we're in an eclipse. I don't know what the problem is. Black Hole Sun. That's a good one. Rudolph Gonzalez. Black Hole Sun. That just is a little dark. But right then. Because we know the very minute it's going to hit us. The scientists have told us.
Why wouldn't you back time it for something cool?
But I want to back time it to something appropriate.
Or do Disturbed's Down with the Sickness, and the moment that the dark hits, you get that you know what I mean? Like right at that exact moment. That'd be cool.
That gives me
would be cooler than this.
No, if the moment it gets dark, I hear Down with the Sickness, that's like a Purge vibe. I'm gonna have to go hide in my vault. I got like 3.5 minutes. Like there's something going on I didn't know about.
So, like, hear me out. You charge people hundreds of dollars to come, and you're setting up the vibe. And the moment the darkness hits, you just have sirens go off. That would be fun.
Dudes in masks show up with baseball bats and nails.
You have your kids show up like, everybody get out of here.
It's true.
Come on.
The prophecy's true. Run. Run.
The Mayans were right. Wow.
That's just around the corner, and that's what we're doing. Hey, we're just beginning the day, and the sun's going to stay up all day as far as we know. We'll prove it to you. Come out and join us. We're at the Valero Texas Open. We're going to be here all day, just the beginning of a full sporting day. The driving range is emptying, but the course is filling. It'll be fun when you get here. We're talking golf. We're talking Texas as they charge toward the Super Bowl. And did the Cowboys offer us a total eclipse of the heart with a brand new offensive lineman? So many questions to ask and so few answers. They're coming around the corner at the fine Morning Huddle, and this is a 94.1. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Y'all be cool.
Your home for the Cowboys.
Prescott all the way, runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
The only thing worse than a pitcher running out of gas on the mound is your old phone running out of storage for your photos in the stands. Switch to Verizon and get a great deal on a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage for all the ballpark pics you want. Just trade in your iPhone, any model, in any condition, so you'll feel like you're winning, even when your team's not. Trade in any iPhone in any condition for a great deal on iPhone 15 Pro with unlimited Ultimate and all the storage you need. Get the network you want on the iPhone you love, only on Verizon.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So, do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
He's a former coach with two sons who played professional basketball. Satch Sullinger's a competitive individual, but his golf game was suffering because of painful joints.
Right. That's real important. The golf game. Right. As we get older, we create these bad habits because we're relegated to hit a certain way.
QC Kinetics used regenerative treatments, all natural healing properties from Satch's own body to restore those damaged joints and get his golf game back on track.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me, all natural. And that's what I'm about. I'm going to tell everybody why I'm better.
Oh, and by the way, looks like the competitive Satch is back.
We're all in the same boat, and I'm getting better, and I'm watching them stay old.
Go to QCkinetics.com. Get relief and your game back. Call for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home. To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
94.1 FM. San Antonio's Sports Center.
It's the Morning Huddle here on San Antonio Sports Star. Let's do some headlines. The Cowboys, they brought them an offensive lineman that, well, the Texans brought him a Stephon Diggs to help in the efforts.
Wembanyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Here we are. This is the Morning Huddle. Gather around us. We got stuff to talk about. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We call ourselves the Morning Huddle. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you are tuned into us and all the appropriate devices. If you can watch us live, we do appreciate that. Go to our YouTube. We are the Morning Huddle. This is San Antonio Sports Star. Subscribe appropriately and like on the daily. Get my steps in this morning, RJ. You know, we love coming out to the Valero Texas Open. The sun's up. It is going to be a glorious day. No longer is it chilly up here on the driving range, but we are like literally on the range. I'm probably 30 yards from, I might turn my cameras to give you guys kind of an idea. Well, you can't really see. Can you see him out there? That's the driving range as we sit in the tent. And this is Greg right here. And these are the peanuts that I ate earlier today.
It's funny how your volume lowered the moment you turned
I started
your
to whisper because I was becoming Jim Nance at that moment.
I know, but this week's tournament's on NBC, so way to mess that up. But
that's right.
Yeah. Jim,
he's about to leave CBS anyway. He's about done. He might be an NBC.
Well, Jim's got the
year.
Masters next week. He's not about to leave anything. So, but
if you can go to the VTO, you're going to give up that Masters gig. I mean, let's be honest.
That's true. Why would you go? The Masters.
I mean, there you can go for fun. Here you can get paid and then go to the Masters. And
if you could ask any golfer any question today, what would it be? It doesn't even have to be a golf question.
Do I need to come up with the golfer? What kind of a name is Rory anyway?
I think it's an awesome name.
I didn't degrade it. I'm just curious what kind of name is it?
Would that be the question? Because that would be a weird question if you didn't ask it to him. Like you walk up to Max Homa and you're like, "Well, I got one question, Max. What kind of a name is Rory?"
Rory anyway. See, here's my problem. I'm not like you. I don't know enough about the backstory of these golfers. And every time I hear stories about these guys, I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that." So we got a local that's got his own tequila.
Abraham? That's right.
Yeah, answer. Yeah.
He's not playing here. But he's on the Live Tour.
Oh, that's right. He took the money and ran.
Mm-hmm.
Smart guy.
But right now so everyone can watch this. The tournament that is on ESPN Plus. It looks marvelous.
Yeah, I just saw Morikawa. He's +1. He's my money guy. He's the first guy on the range this morning. He
identifies
when I did.
Like many people, as a foodie. So you could ask Colin. You see Colin, you're like, "Hey, Colin,
really?
I made a picanha last week. Do you have some thoughts?" Something like that.
That is a worthy discussion. That's the kind of thing. We were watching as the sun came up. Is there another sport? I know this is a topic of conversation whenever you go, where the fans dress as if they're ready to play. The sport that they're attending.
There's a lot of people who wear jerseys to sports. I don't know if
but they're not in completely attired and ready to go. I'm talking about fans here. We are in the full. If someone said, "Hey, Colin can't go, can you?" Like, well, I'm dressed. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, there's not one like that, but I guess I'll flip the question to you and say, what is the sport where the people who do dress similarly are most ready? So like football, just because you're wearing a jersey, to your point, you're not exactly ready. You don't have the necessary protective equipment.
I'm not standing on the sideline in full pads.
I think the answer is probably basketball because, you're most ready to go play basketball the way you're dressed, the way some people are.
That's, other than golf, but yeah, because of the shoes.
This is kind of a cop-out thing too, but maybe tennis, because some people wear, athletic clothes to a tennis match.
Having never been to a major or a minor for that matter, although I've been to a couple of San Antonio tennis things. Yeah, people are kind of tennis-y, but not fully. They're not in their full tennis whites when they go to the match. They're just dressed up with maybe a polo. But a golf, man, when you're at a golf tournament, you can't tell who's playing and who's watching if you're just looking into a crowd. They look exactly alike.
Golf is probably the sport where the athletes look the most like us. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to have an understanding of physics in a way that we cannot comprehend.
Have you seen John Daly lately?
Maybe not all golfers. I'm not saying that, but
or what John Daly? He looks
I
like
think right now
garden gnome.
You brought up Colin Morikawa. I bet you right now, if Colin walked over it, you could bench more than him. You could squat more than Colin easily. You know what I'm saying? You could post
I'm not
up
going
easier.
to let you sit there and downgrade my pick for winning the VTO.
I'm not downgrading him. What I'm saying is he's a smaller human being. You've got some, some athletic prowess on him, but he has an understanding of this game from a physics perspective that you simply do not, which is why he's one of the best players in the world.
You're right, and there is a group of the PGA types that look like me, but for the most part, they all look closer to Shambo than me, or Koepka, or the dudes.
Well,
that
Brooks is like Brooks is a beast.
Koepka's out there. I don't even count him. But they all look, the Tiger's getting more and more ripped as he gets old because he spends more time in the weight room than he is on the course. But they are looking more and more like that than they used to when I was coming up. They all look kind of like me. Like Lee Trevino was never a poster for athletic prowess and fitness. These guys were just fit.
Well, most
because they walked and drank bourbon.
Nowadays they are. I mean, Rory is pretty in shape. Brooks is pretty in shape. Tiger, obviously, kind of the pioneer of all this. Colin is a little smaller frame, but still pretty in shape. I mean, all these dudes are, I'm not saying these are, people with, poor physical profiles, but
can I ask something that would help
I suppose you can do whatever you want.
Fan. We all are attracted to our team and our team's colors, and we know our favorite player by his number and by the color of jersey he has on.
Okay.
I think that professional golfers should all be assigned their own. They have to have a color shirt, and that's them. You are like Colin today is wearing this light blue sweater. He should always have to wear light blue. So when I see light blue, I know that's Colin Morikawa. And there's only as many, and every color, like how many guys get a card, you can only have so many Tua cards as there are crayons. So we've got how many boxes in the biggest crayon box? What's the biggest crayon
box? 64, 96, something like that.
Something like 96. That's all we can get. That's all the colors we got.
What if we stuck to kind of primary colors, a Roy G. Bibb situation, but you mixed it up with hats and pants? You know what I'm saying? So you knew Colin's blue sweater, white pants, white hat. You know what I'm saying? You knew that, but somebody's blue sweater, black pants, black hat. You know what I'm saying?
You have that. Like you get a combo of 3 different. That might be easier. That might be easier.
I will say, you brought up Abraham Answer, who is the local guy. Obviously, that's a live thing. They have team logos, they have team names. I don't know,
but
really,
there's a group. But the reason I bring that up is that as I sit on the driving range, and I'm looking at these guys work out, and I go, "Oh, that guy looks, man, that was nice." I don't know who that is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can discern some swings. Some swings are natural.
You're saying you just want to be spoon fed.
Well, no, I think it would make it easier for fandom is if, congratulations, here is your PGA Tour card, and your color will be burnt sienna. And from here on out, you, RJ Ochoa, whenever you are playing on the field, on the golf courses, you must now wear burnt sienna because that's the color. We only have so many colors, and that's yours.
I think most people understand what these players look like, though, and they all have some semblance of a uniform. Colin is an Adidas guy. He's a TaylorMade guy, so he's generally got a TaylorMade cap going on. I mean,
you know how close I got to be to see if he's wearing TaylorMade or Adidas?
They also have people walking around with placards that say Morikawa on them. What more do you want?
Range. Well, I'm just saying from a distance.
His caddy walks around with a tag on his back that says Morikawa.
But that's his caddy. They're with other caddies.
Who do you think his caddy's standing next to?
Well, there's like 3 dudes in the box. I don't know. What I'm saying is, though, if he was wearing the proper color, I would know him by sight. I'm an idea guy. I'm just here to help. And I'm just saying, I was on the driving range, and I'm like, who is the first guy that's going to be my guy? I didn't know who he was. Now, granted, it was dark, but if I'd have seen, and I was like, oh, that's powder blue. That's Colin.
John Dyer says in the Brigade Bar, what if they wear their college gear so we all have someone to cheer for? I don't know if you're a fan of this. But even if you are,
there's Texas and Arizona State going on. I don't know.
This presents a complication to that point because Colin is in the field this weekend. He's a Cal guy. So is Max Homa, and he's also in the field.
See, 2 black and golds. But maybe a better thing would be the racing colors. You've got 3 colors that are yours, and you'll share some, but your 3 particular are always you. Maybe I'm just saying it would make it easier. Okay, when you go to a tournament like this to be able to pick out the players. Red Bull keeps the same color car, has different drivers. Same. I know
Red Bull literally dresses their drivers in the exact same uniform.
Right. Well, I
so
know
there's
when
two
they're
of
walking
them.
down, but there's only two. But what I'm saying is, when I look down on the driving range, I'm looking at a cat right now. I don't know who he is.
I think you're being a little high maintenance, Rob. If I'm being honest with you.
I'm just here to help.
I don't think you're offering a solution. I think you're.
If you were getting ready for a tournament and you have the access, like it's early in the morning, and you walk out and you got the driving range, you got the chip and putt, you got the chipping green, and then you got the putting green. What's your order of preparation to go for the big match? Are you driving and then putting? Or are you putting, chipping, then driving? How do you warm yourself up?
I think you want to chip first. You want to get the feel in your hands before you do anything. And then I think you want to go putt and feel soft. And then I think you want to go loosen up a little bit and then hit the range, maybe hit the driver last. And then I think you want to wait 10 minutes. But you want that recent movement, what is serving as your most recent physical activity.
So walk out, you putt first.
No,
you step a little bit further. Or you chip first to loosen. Ah. See, I find that I got to drive first. I got to go to the driving range first for whatever reason. The big movements.
Well, first you have to get dressed in your Rob Thompson team uniform.
Yeah,
and then you have to go drive first. So,
but I'm driving for show and putting for dough. That's. I thought of that, by the way.
If you were a professional golfer,
I was the first one that said drive for show, putt for dough. I know other people have said it. But seriously, I said it first.
If you were a professional golfer specifically, we were talking about how Caitlin Clark needs gear, and a lot of people pointed out that Sabrina Ionescu has her own shoe.
She does.
Well.
She does. But she doesn't have a shoe deal. She does not have a shoe deal.
Right.
Like
but if you were a professional golfer, and whoever you're with, let's say you're a Nike golfer. Nike comes to you, Rob. We want to come up with the Robs for people to buy and wear and use whatever. But we want you to pick what that is, whether that's cleats, whether that's a polo, whether that's a belt, whether it's cap. Like, what would you want your signature thing to be that would be available for mass consumption and production?
Would it be like my logo or?
No. I'm saying an actual product, a product, and they would call them the Robs, whether it's a cap or a polo, but you're a golfer. So I want to know, like, if you're a golfer, what would you want the Rob? You want to look out into the crowd and see people sporting the Rob. What is the Rob to you as a golfer? Is it a cleat? Is it a polo, a half zip, a cap? What is it?
Well, it's a new thing for golf. It's called the golf shimmel. It's a half shirt that we wear, and it's only a half shirt.
Okay, so
it exposes the bare middle of our golfers to really show off the torque and the torsion that we put on for our core. So, me and John Daly, we've been working on this for a moment. It's the golf shimmel.
The Rob would be a shimmel, you're saying.
A golf shimmel. Now, it'd have a polo and it'd have buttons. It would be appropriate for country club. But you'd also have a space for your navel. And you can keep your pin and your ball marker in your navel. It's an idea. I'm still workshopping it. But the golf shimmel is something I'm coming up with.
Would there be enough to tuck in? Because you got to
No, there's no tucking in. It just barely covers. It's above the midsection because you got to show off some stuff, and you got to have access to the navel because that's where you store your ball, your ball marker, and maybe if you're my size, you can put a tee in there, maybe some change. And you have ready access.
So what you think you've invented here is the crop top, basically.
Well, no, it's not. See, crop top is the term for the lessers. This is a golf shimmel made of the finest of cottons. It'll breathe. It'll flow well.
Cotton. What are you making this out of cotton for? It's got to be made
breathable.
out of polyester.
No,
cotton is
breathable.
Dude, no, you can't ask people to wear that on the golf course. They're going to be sweating by the third hole. I mean,
no, this is Egyptian cotton. It's only the best. And maybe a synthetic, but we want something that shimmers in the light. When the wind blows, it just kind of flaps above your belly. It'll be found in the retail shops near you. But the golf,
I was going to go with a bucket
have a little
hat.
pocket on the side for.
I think a bucket hat is pretty identifiable with Rob Thompson. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the car.
The golf shimmel. It's coming.
The crop top.
The crop. But see, it's all in what
Rob thinks he invented the crop top today.
And seriously, I did. But other people.
I know other people have done it, but
the
seriously.
And the shimmel. That's an item that has really lost favor over the years.
Wow.
When was the last time you saw a dude walking around in a half shirt?
Zeke Elliott, crop top.
See, there you go. And look what it got him. Maybe back to the Dallas Cowboys, like Chuma Edoga. Hey, let's talk about them Dallas Cowboys. They didn't do much, but they did do something. The state of Texas was the busiest state in the NFL. We'll catch you up next. This is the Morning Huddle, and you are on 94.1. We like to call it San Antonio Sports Star. The time of day, it doesn't really matter. But when you step underneath a Kinetico water softened shower, life doesn't get any better. It just is the absolute way to go. The Kinetico has been my water softener for quite some time, and I joined when I got my Kinetico. I didn't have an offer. I knew what I wanted. My parents had it. My friends had it. I went and got it. But as times have changed and lots of new people coming to San Antonio, you need to learn what we already know. The Kineticos are designed in the United States, manufactured with San Antonio and South Texas in mind. See, what comes out of our aquifer, what comes up from our well, it is fine water. Makes some good sweet tea, some good light beer. But I'll tell you what, there's something in the water that gets stuck in your pipes. And the longer you go, the more clogged they get, and that stuff starts showing up in your hair, on your plates, in your food, on your dog dish. Do you want all that? I don't think you do. The Kinetico takes care of that, gives you the peace of mind of knowing that your most important investment, your home and its pipes, are being protected above and beyond yourself and your family. If you want to find out what I know, call 656-PURE today, PURE, and you will find out that you can get a Kinetico water softened shower in your home 90 days without a single dollar out of your pocket. The Knippers want you to find out on your own terms what it means to have a Kinetico. And on that 91st day, you're going to be just like me. You're going to be a Kinetico customer because they say it, I believe it. It's the last water softener you're ever going to own. Go to KineticoSA.com for all the details. Call them at 656-PURE, but call them. Get a Kinetico today, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, our office this afternoon is going to be top-notch. We are live out at the Valero Texas Open. Round 1 underway.
Talking at Texans with John McClain and their big trade to get Stephon Diggs. We'll also talk tournament with Brendan Haywood. He joins us at 4:45. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
She got a 10-year-old vet, but really these convertibles bring more when they're automatics. And why? Do you know why, Dave?
So the women can drive them, yes, sir.
There you go. So the women can drive. Not that a woman can't drive a stick. It's just not comfortable. Is that misogynistic?
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Misogyny.
Yeah. Well,
I'll call you Eminem.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
When it's time for the March Mania brackets, the bus wide open. As I was saying, it's mad. The Mania of March at BetUS.com is all about those buzzer beat bonus offers. And when the madness starts and Cinderella man steps onto the BetUS always has your back with back-to-back 125% sign-up bonuses on your first 3 deposits and even 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS.com Sportsbook and Casino, where the game... Join today. BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, where the game begins.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile Smart Quad Door Refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kids. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See Capital One Bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
San Antonians love a good party, and the Valero Texas Open is one you don't want to miss. Enjoy food, drinks, and the world's best PGA Tour pros as they tee it up at TPC San Antonio. Proceeds help us continue a long-standing tradition of giving back to our community. So buy tickets on ValeroTexasOpen.com and join us April 4th through the 7th.
Hard work, dedication, and dreams. These are the keystones of success. But easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. And getting your max refund guarantee definitely doesn't hurt. But let others think you did a lot of hard work to file your taxes when in reality, it was a walk in the park. No, you literally filed while walking your dog in the park. Winner! Because some key info is pre-filled for you so you can file quickly and confidently like the boss that you are. So give yourself the peace of mind that comes with getting expert help, because you're going places. Let's go. And make tax season feel like it's award season with easy filing. Yeah! Know that you're backed by the leading tax preparer, TurboTax, and we'll show you all your filing options up front, so there are no surprises. Feel accomplished and confident that your taxes are done right. File an Intuit Credit Karma today. Ah, yeah. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from The Blitz. We're live today at the Valero Texas Open out on the driving range. If you want to come by and say hi, we're going to continue to talk about the Stephon Diggs trade to the Houston Texans. We'll do that with the great John McClain. Plus, we'll talk tournament with Brendan Haywood. He played in a couple of Final Fours when he was at UNC. RJ, you asked us, what about you? What is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I have a unique answer to this. As Rob Thompson does not have the headset on. Not exactly certain what's going on, but it's an enthralling conversation, to say the very least. My favorite flavor of ice cream is cotton candy. You can't necessarily find it everywhere, but it is a beautiful thing. So cotton candy ice cream, me, a match made in heaven. The Dallas Cowboys did bring back Chuma Edoga on Wednesday. It is a one-year deal. Veteran salary benefits. Hey, there he is.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here. Hey, we got fans here. Sorry, everybody. I got to do a radio show. As we sit live at the Valero Texas Open, you never know who you're going to run into out at the driving range. As the tournament is flying along, I'm waiting for the leaderboard to head around. But we're going to be here all day long today and tomorrow. Make it a point as you come out to come up to the driving range, say howdy to us as we are in a tent. We're out of the sun in the early morning. We're out of the breeze. Fine place to be. And by the way, there's a snack bar, and they're selling icy cold refreshments just across from where we are, and we'll be here all weekend long, or all today and tomorrow, and I'll be out here all weekend too. There'll be good concerts as well. The BTO puts on a show as they do every season long. We talked about it this morning, and it really started yesterday as the Houston Texans just continue to make waves. And as we went off yesterday, it was announced that the Texans had traded for Stephon Diggs, which, we've looked at it from the Texans' perspective all day. My goodness, they continue to prove that if a team wants to get on the move, they can. And if you want to take a risk, there are risks to be had. There are teams that are trying to get out from under. And to get Stephon Diggs just seems, the perfect time for both teams. And but for Buffalo, it's a perfect time in a different way, because the guy that's arriving to help CJ arrived to help Josh Allen, and that time has come and gone. And I think what Buffalo is showing Allen is the absolute commitment that we are in it with you, but you now are on a very short plank, Because if it doesn't work now, his general manager is going to get fired. His coach is going to get fired, and he's going to get traded. But I think everybody's happy. I think Buffalo fans happy. I think Diggs is certainly happy. The Texans are happy. Only thing that anybody's worried about is the owner. The salary cap for Buffalo is going to have to eat about $30 million this year. But other than that, it's one of those deals that, despite the financial ramifications, both teams, I think, walking away going, "We got it done. We did it."
I don't know that the Bills feel great about it. To your point,
They've been stewing on this for a year. I think there's a big exhale up at Orchard Park going, well, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
There's definitely a relief, but I don't know that you feel great. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but it's a failure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a failure. I mean, they were really, really good. What do you mean it was a failure? How is it a failure?
They didn't reach the ultimate goal, and he is now exiting, and they're eating $30 million to say goodbye. I think it's a failure. I think that he was never happy, didn't like Josh Allen, didn't like the offense, didn't like anything, and was a weighted blanket on that team. Now, they're less talented, there's no doubt, and but I think after they watched Mahomes and Kansas City live on without their stud, I think they're expecting to be able to do the same.
They reached the playoffs in every single year that he was on the team. He was one of the most productive receivers throughout the entire 4-year stretch. I think you can make an argument that at some point in the run, he was the best receiver in the NFL. It's kind of a moving thing, obviously.
I'm with you. He's a supremely talented dude, but
but you said it was a failure because they didn't reach the ultimate goal.
$30 million.
They made the playoffs 4 years in a row.
Yeah,
that had not happened since the 90s Super Bowl seasons of theirs. And I'm not saying that reaching the playoffs 4 years in a row is a failure, but it was a massive success. He unlocked Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he owes a large part of that, obviously to himself and his coaching staff, but to Stephon Diggs. So that Stephon Diggs served as a gateway to that reality means it was an overwhelming success. They did not reach the ultimate goal, but it was in no way a failure. Multiple things can be true.
Well, I think that success is a relative term, as Jerry will tell you. But if you're willing to eat a $30 million humble pie to say goodbye, there's something that wasn't successful inside of this success. And I do think
it wasn't an overwhelming success, but it wasn't a failure.
No, and I think it allowed Josh Allen to become what he is. But what he is not what Steph wants to play with, whatever that is. So I don't qualify it as a success, but I do qualify after you make a deal, whether it be in sports or in business. If I can walk away going, I'm better off right now. It might not be initially, but I will be better off. Then that's the first thing to say this was a good deal. And I think both teams, the Texans say, I'm better off right now. I got talent. I got a guy that's going to help a young quarterback. And Buffalo can say, I'm a success right now because Steph helped me get there. And I got a quarterback that I can now trust to be a guy that he wasn't when he got here, when Diggs got here. But at the same time, I got rid of a problem. And that's worth $30 million to me. So it's rare when you see this. You go, both teams probably pretty happy today. But I feel like Buffalo, despite losing a top flight wide receiver, feels better about themselves than they did yesterday.
I would also offer to be careful because when the Bills traded for Stephon Diggs, he had a falling out in Minnesota, and every Vikings fan was of the mindset, hey, enjoy, but there's an expiration date on these good times. And none of that makes Houston trading for Diggs a bad decision in any stretch. It's an amazing decision. But if 2-3 years from now we're saying, man, there's some drama here, there's some whatever, every Bills and Vikings fan is going to say, yep, told you. You know what I mean? It comes at a price. And that could be what Houston, maybe ultimately doesn't have to deal with. Maybe for whatever reason it works out in a way that it didn't in his previous stops. But that is definitely a factor worthy of consideration.
Well, as he arrives, there is nothing but hope in Houston. I mean, there's not a more positive atmosphere other than south of Kansas City anywhere in football, because the hope is just continues to spring forward as with every passing day. You just wait not for the Texans to do something, but what are they going to do great? Because everything they've done so far since the last draft has been great. They have not made a misstep yet. And this appears to be kind of the crowning jewel on what appears to be the most drastically retooled and upgraded team in football.
I don't know that they are over the last 2 years because of everything that happened.
Since the draft, since a year ago today, when they didn't have CJ and they didn't have Will Smith, they didn't have any of that. And you look where they were yesterday, Will Anderson, to now, they're the most radically retooled and restructured football team, without doubt.
And I think certainly if you include buzzwords like culture, their culture was awful. I mean, the years they went through from, post Bill O'Brien, before D'Amico Ryans, were just horrible. I mean, everybody thought they were this joke, Nick Caserio and all this different stuff. I mean, it was all a mess. And you get the right guy. I mean, I would say they got the right two guys. CJ Stroud deserves an enormous amount of credit, but so does D'Amico Ryans. You get the right guys in place, and you step out of the way, and you let them work, and beautiful things can happen. And that's what the Texans are experiencing.
Yeah, you brought it up. The former team chaplain with the New England Patriots that was running the Texans for a moment. Casario, Ryans, and Stroud, that trio, perfect timing, and an organization that's not afraid to make a deal. Just to step out there knowing full well they got a safety net. They got a couple years to play with. They got a little bit of money in the bank, and they understand the ramifications of spending a little bit much now. They can fix that later.
It's just so cool when a team just is, reckless isn't the right word, but fearless. When a team is fearless, what happens if who cares? We'll figure it out. I love how fearless the Texans are about everything. Everybody dragged them for trading back up in the first round last year to go get Will Anderson, the player we just mentioned. And everybody said, well, you paid too much. Do you think they care? Do you think they feel that way today? No, they're not concerned with winning the deal the way the Cowboys are. The Cowboys are like, well, we could do it, but we'd be paying too much. We'd be losing the deal. Who cares? You figure it out as you go along. The Texans are the gold standard for NFL operation in the state of Texas.
And they had to go through what a lot of alcoholics will say, a moment of clarity, where they had to literally hit rock bottom. And if you look at our brigade bar, LBJ Salazar has it right. They got lucky that Watson was an idiot. But when Watson was assuming the happy baby pose and going through that, they had hit rock bottom. And that moment of clarity meant that we got to trade away the very best we've ever had to kind of start to rebuild. And it didn't take that long to do it. And I think that's what's so galling to fans of other teams like the one up in Dallas and maybe the one in San Antonio. When you have the opportunity, you have to strike. The Texans did it. Can San Antonio? Wemby's their own version of CJ Stroud. The Texans are building around him. Will Wemby get what he needs to go do it? We're going to talk about Wemby and the place he finds himself with the Spurs as they wound down the season, and also look at the college football world as there's one last adjustment that needs to be made in the football side of college sports, and it might be an 80-team super conference. We're talking about them both, but it won't be any fun unless you're with us. We'll be right back. You're on 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star. We were over there yesterday. I want to talk about it, Arasti. I got home yesterday, and my dad was walking around with a sore neck. He said, I heard you talking about Arasti. Explain to me what that is again. Well, guess what? He's going to see him today. If you're dealing with something that's paining you, keeping you out of life, don't. Arasti providers are all around San Antonio, highly trained medical professionals with one job in mind, as that's to provide you with a continuity of care that's going to get you out of pain as fast as possible without the use of surgery, without the use of medications to hide or dull the pain, your body fixing itself. And let me tell you, I am living proof it works. I've had lower back issues most of my adult life. I never knew when it was coming, but every now and then it would just grab me, seize up, and just hold on for about a month. And it took about that long before I felt normal. First time I walked into Arasti, I say walked. I say more like stumble. I walked in and I knew there was something different. And within 3 visits, I was back in the game and I was a patient for life. That can be you. Know this. When you walk into a Arasti provider, you're going to get a full evaluation. They accept most insurances, and you never need a referral to go see an Arasti provider. Write this number down. It's 1-800 404-6050. Need more details? You should. Go to arossi.com. All the details you need and a map of all the providers around San Antonio. I'll bet there's one less than 10 minutes from where you are right now. Call them today. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arossi. They're going to get you fixed, and when they do, I want you to thank me later.
With the books, UConn, Purdue, NC State, and Alabama now converge on Phoenix with just 2 more wins needed to claim the 2024 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Tune in this Saturday to hear Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Final Four.
It's all come down to this, the 2024 Final Four, Saturday at 3 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
Folks, quality is a huge deal. It's what I look for when I recommend something to my listeners. It means you can depend on it. Quality means it won't let you down. It's something you can be proud of. Well, that's the definition of a Connecticut water softener. With other water softener brands, you just never know. Maybe they work half the time or they're just plain junk. A Connecticut water softener is up to 80% more efficient than competing models and will be the last water softener you'll ever own. That's because you're buying quality, and it's backed up with an outstanding 10-year warranty, too. If you're ready to enjoy all the benefits that come with quality, bring home a Connecticut water softener. Call the team at Connecticut at 656-PURE or online at ConnecticutSA.com. That's 656-PURE or ConnecticutSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Public health is more than just healthcare. While a doctor treats individuals, public health looks at the health of a community. At Metro Health, we research the risk of illness and take action to stop the spread of infectious diseases. We introduce prevention and early detection activities that help individuals enjoy healthier lives. We protect against environmental health hazards. Metro Health collaborates with community partners to improve health outcomes because we are all public health. Celebrate National Public Health Week with us. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Missions Baseball is back. Opening night is Tuesday, and it's AARP $2 Tuesday. Presented by 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, featuring $2 tickets, pizza, beer, and more. Gates at 6, first pitch at 7:05. Visit samissions.com for tickets and details.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
But that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you could start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT career? So, get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
94.1 FM. Wake up with the Morning Huddle.
right, get on up. If you are just waking up, enjoy your day off. Come over to the Valero Texas Open. If you've been up for a minute like us, we're glad you're with us. And it's just the beginning of a full sporting day. The Blitz will be sitting in these seats in just a couple hours on the driving range over at the VTO. He's for Jay Ocho. I'm Rob Thompson. We're glad you're with us right now. I have a question for you. What's the craziest golf implement you've ever bought? You think there's somebody roaming on the course today with one of those weird clubs that you see on late night TV, like the Alien Wedge, or
you're saying like the weirdest accessory or something?
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing you ever got to improve your hobby. Like there's fishermen that'll go buy like a battery operated lure, like that might work, but it didn't. But you spent some money because it was worth a shot. I remember there was the Alien Wedge. That, back on TV back in the mid-'90s, it was on every late-night show. If you had the Alien Wedge, you could hit between 25 and 150 yards, and then you could land it literally on a dime, and it would stick. I mean, it looked so good, I went and bought it. No, that was just a heavy club. That's all it was. But what's the dumbest thing you ever bought to improve your hobby?
Some people might say it's dumb, but I mean, I get great use out of it. So just want to be clear. And it's maybe a little bit lazy more than anything. Everybody has a rangefinder. Obviously, you dial in your yardages and things like that. I don't,
but I wish I did.
And I don't mean to call out my family because basically everybody has one. But it's actually I have it here. This thing. See how big this is?
I see it. I don't know what that is though.
It fits in the palm of your hands. It's that big. And this goes on your belt or your hat or whatever. And it pairs with the course that you're at, and you touch it, and it tells you the distance to the center of the green. So it's like on the back of your cap, and you just touch it, and it audibly tells you. You know what I mean? So you can walk here, there. Well, it's based on GPS. It has GPS tracking, and so
it's just the center of the green, not the pin placement, just to the average center of the green.
Correct. Yeah. Well, because gotcha. The pin placements change, so you can know the center, and then if you really want to know the flag, you get your rangefinder out, whatever. Again, I don't find it to be dumb. I find it to be incredibly useful, but maybe it's a little over the top for some people.
I like eyeballing it. I'm never right. My 100 yards is very different from what the other 100 yards is. I don't know why I feel like 100 yards is so much closer than it really is. It's just 100.
Yeah, 100 yards looks so much larger on a football field than it is a golf course. It's just.
Are you? We were talking earlier about the apparel that you wear to play golf. And we were talking about the things that are appropriate and not appropriate. Are you a glove wearer,
Rob? I don't mean to be pretentious, but if you're not wearing a glove, you're not even playing the game right. I mean,
well, I do know some people that don't wear gloves, but I can't imagine playing without it. Though I don't think I really need it.
You definitely need it.
Both hands?
No, or gross. What are you talking about?
Or just the lead hand. Oh, that's the other one. Okay, so why do I only need one glove? Why didn't the backhand need gloves?
It's for gripping your lead hand.
I invest in high-end grips, but so I don't need a glove.
Your hands sweat. I mean, as the
I
day
agree.
goes along.
I have never played without a glove, but I feel like if I didn't have one, I wouldn't miss it. But I'm always so worried that I'll need it that I always have one.
You got to have a glove. Some people, I'm not going to name names. I don't do this. Maybe you can't imagine this. Some people alternate gloves every hole. So it's constantly dry. So they play hole one in glove A, and they walk up and they putt. They take it off, and then they put it somewhere so it can dry off. And then hole two, they use glove B. And odd holes are glove A, even holes are glove B. That way, one is constantly dry and ready.
That's for them that's got money. That's for the fancy types that have, caddies and whatnot and separate gloves.
Max Homa is about to tee off on 17, a very drivable par 4. In fact, my prediction is going to be that he's about to drive this green wearing a glove. You want to tell Max he doesn't need it?
Can you be a golf fan and not have a baseball cap on or some sort of hat?
Well, it's not a baseball cap. It's a golf hat.
Okay.
Let's see if he does.
See, I think I might be the only person on the course today, other than the two other guys that Greg and I have seen, that doesn't have a hat on of some sort.
He did not drive the green, but he's in the fairway.
See, I watched him warm up earlier. See, if you'd have been out here on the driving range with the rest of us, you'd have known that he wasn't going to drive the green. He's a little off this morning. I don't think the eggs were appropriate for him.
Adam Scott on the super unique 16th hole at TPC that has that bunker right in the middle. The pimple right in the middle of its face.
Mm-hmm. The 16th is unique. That's the crossroads hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where we've got three all together. I'm going to spend some time right in that little crossroads.
Adam stuck it to about 6 feet. Look at Adam
still
go.
going. Nothing like golf on the radio. It will be Valero, Texas opening all day long. Make sure you come out and say hello to the Blitz today. They'll be here from 2 to 6, and they always bring a little bit of swag. We'll be here today till about 15 minutes from now, and Greg and I are going to go down to the bottom of the hill and eat a fine golfer's breakfast.
What does that include?
I don't know. I'd like to think they're going to feed us like the Scots. Like we're going to eat a Scottish breakfast, like we were on the Scottish Highlands getting ready to play Old Number 7, whatever the hell. I don't know the name of those courses, but they'd feed us what the Scotsmen eat, which I think is like,
gosh, holy crap. Colin
eggs
Morikawa, your boy. Man, this was a bad pick,
that one.
Rob.
His ball speed's a little off, but we're feeling good about it. Tonight, the Spurs have the evening off.
Well deserved? Would you say it? Would you put it that way?
Well, I wish they were playing tonight as opposed to the next 4 days, because we're heading into, I do believe, as good a college basketball weekend as we have ever been treated to in the history of mankind. Because it starts tomorrow night, where about 8 o'clock, we get the battle of the likes, which when the schedules were put out, when the Final Four was first dreamed of at the beginning of the year, that we would get a UConn. Well, I'm not going to say UConn, Iowa, a Paige Buchers, Caitlin Clark matchup. That's what we're getting, and that's what we're paying to see.
Right. So
we get a little Gino, but really it's a matchup of those that we do expect to be part of our basketball lexicon for the next 15 years.
So we'll do picks tomorrow.
Yes.
But who are you rooting for? What championships do you want to see? You can't see UConn, Iowa, obviously.
No, I can't. But I do. I think that, South Carolina is going. The North Carolina State game, you never know. Upset could happen. But South Carolina has been this entity, this I don't know what the best term for it is, because we haven't been talking about them. We haven't talked about Don Staley in South Carolina for a week and a half. All we've talked about is Caitlin and Iowa. We've had a little bit of Baylor news, but South Carolina just keeps winning. But we don't have a name to put in front of South Carolina and Don Staley. They're the best team in the tournament. The team that's least talked about is the best one in the tournament. I think South Carolina rolls in and probably going to win this whole thing. But by that point, the damage has been done. And I say damage in the most facetious way. By the time we see South Carolina play in the championship game against whoever it is, whether it's UConn and Gino and Paige, or it's Iowa and Caitlin and the Caitlinettes, the benefits have already been reaped. I mean, by that point, whoever wins that game, but the benefits have been reached. The plateau has been carried, and then you throw in the men who have this blue blood and star feel as well. It doesn't get any better. The picks sideline. Just be a basketball fan today. Tomorrow we'll tell you who's going to win.
NBA news: Julius Randle's undergoing season-ending injury for the Knicks. So
that's unfortunate for the Knicks. That's a playoff charge that goes on the heels of an Embiid return. They need him desperately to kind of close this run out. That is not the kind of news that you wanted to hear as the season winds down. But when we do see the Spurs again, how much of Wemby are we going to see, and should we be seeing him?
Well, quickly on the collegiate note, I'm rooting for. I want to see Iowa, South Carolina. I want Caitlin to have slayed LSU, UConn / Paige, and South Carolina on the way. What a walk-off that would be. I mean,
if she manages to do it, and I say they, I can't imagine a run like this. It won't have happened. Maybe we can go back to, say, the mid-'80s in college basketball, and I think of one Final Four in particular in '85, where we had the upset, where Villanova did take down Georgetown, but we had 3 of the top 4 teams in the country. We had all the biggest stars were all playing at the tournament, and it was exactly as we had hoped. It feels like that's where we're headed with the women, that it doesn't matter who wins, that whoever wins the early games, it's still going to be, the stories have already been written. They're already going to be appropriate. And for the men,
UConn, Purdue, duh.
If we can get that, if we can get the battle of the bigs, if we get Godzilla versus King Kong, which it seems like we're headed, and that's how it feels. The the perfect weekend of sports will be upon us all the way through Monday night. Monday, by the way, the Blitz will be broadcasting out at the Roo Pub after the eclipse, before the tip of the men's national championship game. Make sure you come out and join us at the Roo, as they always host the championship party. It'll be worth it. And you can have a Wimby burger watching his running mate next year in Zach Edey.
Is Godzilla versus King Kong being promoted by Max? Because that would work out wonderfully. They've had, obviously, the tournament all tournament long. So if they were to get Godzilla King Kong, what a just fortuitous lineup that would ultimately be.
Well, first of all, I think we need to clarify. I don't think it's Godzilla versus King Kong. I think they team up.
In the movie?
I think that there's a subplot there, kind of like a Marvel universe coming together, where I don't think they fight. I think they team up, kind of like Rocky and Apollo Creed.
Who is such a bad dude that it requires Godzilla and King Kong to fight them off?
Oh, that's easy. It's either Megalon or Mothra.
it's the king of the shimmels. Is the big bad guy. Wow.
I'm fixated on Godzilla because I actually got an A on a college paper. I thought I was a really smart guy, and I wrote this whole college paper on the meaning of Godzilla in modern society. So, yes, if you're ranking the vengeful opponents, Mothra it was a tough one. So they do king offs. See, I was getting the sense with the name, with the title, because it wasn't Godzilla v King Kong, it was Godzilla X King Kong, and that told me in the very title that we had a surprise plot twist, that they were going to join together to fight a greater enemy. And Marco Mendez has leaned in yet again today. He's been an influencer today on the Brigade Bar. And we want to thank everybody that kind of leaned in all day long and played a role in what we've been doing. Continue doing that. And if you haven't already subscribed, do just that. Come out and join us out at the Valero Texas Open. We'll be walking around all afternoon long. I'll be the one guy out here without a hat.
Yeah, I do want to thank our wonderful listeners and viewers for being incredible, loving, gracious people. And I hope that they all have incredible days. I hope they eat incredible meals and rest and enjoy sectors and sections of entertainment and sports and pop culture. And I hope that when their heads, meet the pillow tonight, that they look back and say, you know what, this was the best day ever.
We start the day that way. Is there a prescribed golf, like when you go to the Masters, you got to get a pimento cheese sandwich? That's just kind of the thing.
Okay.
Is there something at the Valero Texas Open that I have to get? Do we have a signature item? I think that's
Obliterated would be the answer. Today. But I would say maybe a Whataburger. You know what I mean?
You think that there might be, but I don't know.
Or Valero coffee, like coffee from a Valero.
See, I will not have a free or discounted Valero coffee until it is a playoff win Valero coffee.
Well, I know,
I've maintained a steady there. I won't do it again, so maybe it'll be a year or two.
I don't disagree with you, but if there's an exception, it's to have the sort of drink of the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Or either that or just straight up petroleum. You know what I mean? Like that's what you go for.
I'm going to go play golfer and pee in the woods and look for a lost ball and follow some professionals that can do it far better than me for the next couple of hours. Hopefully you guys will do the same. This is one of the great San Antonio events. It is the VTO. We will be live all day long. RJ, any parting thoughts?
Drink water, O'Doyle rules, and Des caught it.
And with that, we want to thank everybody for hanging with us. Hey, do your homework, go to bed early, eat your greens. We will see you tomorrow. This has been the Morning Huddle right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville.